All right.
Islam family,
The
Islam family. Welcome. Hold up. Let me open it up real quick. Let me open it up real quick. Islam family. Welcome to Moorish World TV 7. Moorish World TV 7 is the place where you get your Moorish nutrition, if you will. So a lot of people was asking me while I was doing Moorish World TV, and I was doing a lot of other conversation on Moorish World TV, and many people asked me, brother, when you going to do the Moorish information? When you going to do the Moorish information? I have been doing the Moorish information. It's just people haven't been in the temple, except those who are members of the temple. That's it. I do the Moorish information at least twice or three times a week. You know, with that being said, I want y'all to press 7 if y'all can hear me, because I don't see no chat moving or nothing. Please press 7 if y'all can hear me. Okay, let me turn this down to look like I'm too loud. All right. So a lot of times people on Moorish World TV would say, when you gonna do the Moorish information? Do the Moorish information. Well, I do. I do. I'm a Grand Sheik. I'm an official Grand Sheik. I do it every day, all day, but I teach at least twice at minimum, 3 times or 4 times during the week. And you're welcome to join. All you have to do is send an email to joinnobletemples at gmail.com. That's joinnobletemples at gmail.com. And you can sit in on a class, or you can become an official member and help us change this situation that we in. With that being said, but so many people ask, I figured that I will begin to develop a Moorish World TV 7 for the express purpose to strictly stick to Moorish and conscious, familiar Moorish and conscious topics. Let me say that. And when I say conscious topics, that could be Hebrew, that could be Christian, that could be, in those circles. But with that being said, we here, family. I ask y'all to share. Black Girls Read in the building. What up, Black Girls Read? My peoples, MJ Givens in the building, Shaw in the building, Sean from the side. Selby Bay, let's get it. So with that being said, I'm going to yield the floor to my brother and let him tell you a little bit about himself before we get started. I'm going to unmute him. His name is, I know him by Jelani Bay. And let me set this up properly. Let me set it up properly. So the way that this conversation came about is I put a post on Facebook. And I got to do it like this. I put a post on Facebook that goes like this. 1 second. This is the post that I put on Facebook. I said, fun fact, all of the scholarly MSTFA leaders are scared to have a public, respectable, scholarly dialogue about Moorish Science Temple history, structure, and practices. Shh. And a few people came forth. And we're going to have a few shows from this post right here. 136 people have commented. It has been going back and forth. The thing that really is the issue that everybody start talking about a debate. Not once in that post did I say anything about a debate. Everybody, what are we debating about? Why are we still debating? They're like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's like people who claim to be the guiders of the nation are scared to have their information challenged or vetted. And these are Moors. Most people on that post, 95% was Moors. Scared to have their information vetted and scared to have their information challenged. We need to get past that. We need to get past that. And so, with that being said, without no further ado, I got my brother Jelani Bay. Now, I said in the comment, I said, scholarly MSTA leaders. Brother, do you consider yourself a scholarly MST of a leader? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. May 26, 2006, I was ordained Grand by Grand Sheikh Mayat Spirit Bay in the embryo Moorish Science Temple of America. A few months after that, well, I think the beginning of the next year, I was appointed Grand Sheikh in the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Since then, I have studied the Prophet's law. A lot of times, my leadership wasn't really, I'll say, adept in certain things that other scholars got us into, like, you know, the whole right to travel situation and a lot of the things that were introduced during that time, during around 2000. When we did get into difficulty, there was no remedy nowhere. Those people who put me in a leadership position was not able to advise me adequately. So I had to fend for myself. So in fending for myself, I went to the Secretary of State out of ignorance, trying to get a UCC on myself. And what ended up happening, to show you how our law works, I asked about the MSTA in South Carolina, and although they were there on record, none were active. When you went to go see them, you couldn't find them. When you went at the appointed times, the doors were closed. So when I asked about the two temples, I asked them, how did they establish themselves in South Carolina? So she gave me the form. And I had two of my grand sheikhs with me. And we then started the Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the World, Free and Sundry Moorish Science Temple of America. And people wonder why I named it that. I named it that so that a lot of the leadership in the Moorish Science Temple of America wouldn't come at me, you know, with the jurisdictional thing, with all that stuff there, so that we could, for lack of a better term, go into the laboratory and figure out this classical mess, figure out what this is we're supposed to do. Because time after time, I was one of those persons going up in the courtroom, in proprio pro sana so juris and all that garbage there, you know, and I even tried to sue and lost miserably, falling behind Moorish scholars and their adaptation of Moorish science, especially when they would spew their rhetoric and then mention the Prophet Noble Drew Ali to kind of co-sign on their rhetoric. So when I realized the game, I started studying. I started studying the Prophet. And a guy came in church, I mean, not in church, in the courtroom, a European guy with a big old family Bible. He slammed it on the podium and told the judge, if you have a law that can trump this, you have 45 seconds to prove it. Courtroom was quiet. He picked his Bible up and he left. And the judge said, next case. And I remember sitting there going, what the heck just happened? Well, the First Amendment just happened. Then I said, okay, well, Congress shall make no law with respect to religion or the practice and establishment thereof. Fine. All right. So now what does that mean? Then I started studying religious law and the power and the religious autonomy that it has. Then when I found out about that, I went back to the Prophet's work. And what he taught us, chapter, verse, sentence, paragraph, became to make more and more sense. The Muslims have Sharia law. The Hasidic Jews have their Talaka courts and Talmudic law. You know, the Mormons have their own law. The Quakers, the Mennonites. Where's the Moorish law? Because we keep fighting these court battles with Christian law, and the Prophet told us we must return that back to the European. So what law do Moors use to protect themselves? Islam?
Islam. So do you feel what is Moorish law? Because that's what you pose to me. What is Moorish law?
Moorish law is the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. from the Moorish Holy Quran, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, additional laws, general laws, and the doctrine, and of course the one-on-one questionnaire. Throughout all of those pieces of literature, there are commandments and there are laws, that we must adhere to. Chapter 47, verse 13. We must obey these divine laws as handed down to us by our prophet. So he's telling you that we have our own law. He didn't say their law. He said these laws. So what are these laws? Brother Taharka, you got your Moorish Holy Quran with you, brother?
Yeah.
I'm not even at the crib.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, could you look up chapter 31, please, for me? The chapter on justice.
All right.
Because when people ask me that question, I point them straight to that chapter. Because within that chapter, it has all of the, for lack of a better term, penal codes or laws against humanity that we as Moorish Americans are not supposed to disobey. So that's like our guideline for Moorish law right there.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it up for you. Give me 1 second.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
For you. And then I'll
all right. Thank you, sir.
In a moment. Let me open another window. Speak on the law that you're talking about, though, as I pull it up, if you can.
Well, Moorish customary law, and like I said, I was left out to dry, not even mentioning no names. I was left out to dry to fight these people who I started to fight with because my leadership told me to go to these people and introduce myself and let them know that we mean them no harm and this thing and that thing. Well, the county sheriff, I'm talking in Greenwood, South Carolina. Now, the county sheriff was no problem. The only thing he was concerned with was weapons. And we gave him material to investigate. So he was thoroughly certified. He was thoroughly convinced as to who we were and we meant no harm. Well, I took the same presentation to the police department. The person doing all the dirty work was Michael Butler. He was the assistant chief of police and a Christian minister. And this brother, he declared war on us. He doggone told the city council that we were a chapter of the El Rukins, a gang out of Detroit and Chicago, and that's when our trouble started. So when the trouble started, my leadership was nowhere to be found on the indigenous side from the Moab, Tierra, Cherokee, Kittiwah Nation, nor the Moorish Science Temple, nor the Moorish Holy. They just left us banging and swinging with these policemen about nothing. And then, of course, during that time, the driver's license fraud was out there. So, out of ignorance, I cut up the driver's license contract. I cut it up when that was not the procedure to do that. But so when I began to study and understand that the prophet's law were actual commandments, were actual laws, were actual instructions for how we're supposed to carry ourselves, I started using that as my litigations. And I have no more problems. They erased my image off of their records. They erased every allegation they had against me. They erased it off their records.
Okay, now what I want to ask you now, to figure it out of hand, brother Morrow will get it. What I want to ask you about when you say that you're using the prophet's records or you're using Moorish law, and you're saying that the Moorish law comes out the Quran, right? What exactly are you in court for?
Well, back in the day, it was about the right to travel.
Okay.
And out of ignorance, we followed the respectfully the rhetoric that came out of driver's license fraud.
Right.
You see what I mean?
So
go ahead.
I wanted to say this. So when you talk about that, you use so you've been using stuff out of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America to adjudicate cases, right? And you know, that's neither here nor there for me. But when you say like that the people in the Moorish Science Temple of America didn't come to you, or this person didn't come to you, the Moorish Science Temple of America is a membership organization. It's not an organization that now if someone calls me and if it's in my power to assist, I'm going to assist, period. I don't care what segment or part of the community that you in. I'm going to assist, period. But in all truth, the Moorish Science Temple of America is a religious society, an organization, and it has an administration that has checks and balances. And when you're outside of the checks and balances, there is no way that you can really use that as a defense. Now, it may work for you. A lot of different things work. Sharif Anil Bey give example how he did the right to travel for years and years and years. It might work, but that doesn't mean that that's Moorish law as a defense for a criminal act. You understand?
What's a criminal act? Islam, or
whatever they determine to be a criminal act. If you go to court, you have submitted to jurisdiction. If you go to court, you have submitted to jurisdiction. If somebody accuse you of something and you go to court, the moment you walk in and you speak in defense of yourself, you have submitted to jurisdiction. So if they accuse you of a criminal act, whether right, wrong, or indifference, the moment you come to defend yourself, you submit to jurisdiction. Now, the next question would be, when you're talking about Moorish law, Prophet Noble Drew Ali makes a clear statement, and I'm going to yield the floor after this. He makes a clear statement in this document. And I could care less if people really understand it, because if you want to understand it, I can help give understanding at a later date. In this right here, Prophet Noble Drew Ali makes a thorough statement. Act 4, all members, that would imply this is not willy-nilly, all members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the law of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. That's one. And then Act 5 follows of the same energy. This organization, remember, we're talking about organization. This is not willy-nilly. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Hereby what? What government is he talking about? Because there wasn't no established Moorish government when the prophet wrote this. This is a document for the organization. So what jurisdiction are you in using Prophet's Noble Drew Ali teachings becomes the caveat to what is Moorish law. What you're using is the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and you calling it Moorish law. But it's the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Listen to the title. Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And it governs the society of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It doesn't govern this judicial system. It governs the society of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And the Moorish Science Temple of America is a government within a government, a society within a society that has its own checks and balances that's predicated from the Supreme Grand Council that issues the laws that should be established for its members that ultimately will metamorphose into a full-blown government of its own. So taking the Quran into the court doesn't make that Moorish law. With all due respect. So I want you to help us to understand, just because you got away or got off or beat some cases, you know, that doesn't really give credence that this is Moorish law. The question is, what is Moorish law?
Mm-hmm.
As it relates to the judicial system. Now we can generally say, okay, it is Moorish law but it governs the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's like
I'm just waiting for you to finish, brother. That's all.
No, okay. So I was finished, but let me say this. It's like this. When people don't like what I say and the things that I challenge, they would say, you violating Act 6, or you violating Act this, or you violating Act that, right? But how can they say I'm violating something if they're not even in the organization to legitimately know what the rules of the organization is? They're not even in the organization. So you have more, oh, you violating Act this. You ain't even a part of this administration to even make that accusation, because the Moorish Science Temple of America is not only a nation within a nation to be built, if you will. It's a wheel within the wheel of the United States. But the sovereign government that we are under right now is the United States. And I'll share something else with you. Go ahead, brother.
All right. Well, first of all, you have to understand certain definitions. And I know this is debatable. It is up in the air. I've heard several arguments, but from 1913 to 1928, the prophet did what he did under the laws of theocracy. Theocracy is a government whose laws are the laws of their God rules their government. And they have an earthly representative and a priesthood or a council to assist that earthly representative in interpreting the laws of that God. We have a law father of the universe. We have our prophet Noble Drew Ali, and you said the Supreme Grand Council. Absolutely correct. Islamism. All right. So now, you respectfully, brother, you made quite a few assumptions. One of them is that I had situations and I was dragging myself out of them. In the beginning, yes, I was not following good leadership, and I had all kind of problems. But through the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, they disappeared. And then it became my charge to help other Moorish Americans get out of situations, righteous situations. All right, after investigation. So now let me address Act 4. I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit because you went over a lot of information. Please show me where the Maryland Constitution mentions Florida in its Constitution. And also, in the letter that's be read at every meeting, was it January 18th, 1929? He states at the last paragraph that he attended the governor's inauguration representing the Moorish Divine and National Movement, not the Moorish Science Temple of America. So the Moorish Divine and National Movement is how he did big business, because he said he was going to do the same thing at the president's inauguration, but he was killed by that time. So the name of our government is the Moorish Divine and National Movement. All right, because that's when the prophet did official business, he did it under that title. So when they say the government, they're talking about the Moorish government. The fact that we even have a constitution means that we have a body politic, a government, like every other state of the union. Now, when you say United States, and I ask this question all the time, where's the United States? Well, where I'm at. Oh, you know, the country. No, the United States is strictly Washington, D.C. And when you get outside of its borders, you're in America. two different and distinct jurisdictions. And religious law is another jurisdiction altogether. This is what we don't understand. There's a thick brick wall in the sand when it comes to your religious obligation, your law. Remember, every government of the world bases their law on their religion. Period. In China is Buddhism. In India is Hindi. Everybody based their law on their God. In the Muslim world, it's Sharia law based on Prophet Muhammad, wasalam. All right. Same thing with the Hasidic Jews. It's the Torah, the Talmud, and they call it halakha law, and they all have their own courts. This is in the religious jurisdiction. See? And the United States corporation does not bother them. So when it says in Act 4 that we're supposed to obey the laws of the government, and then in Act 5 it says we're not to overthrow the laws of that government, they're talking about the Moorish government, because within the Moorish government we have specific instructions. You know, the U.S. government is a Christian government. Chapter 48, verse 7 says we're supposed to return the church and Christianity back to the European. And that means everything that is European, everything that is Christian. When we were forced to be Christians, we were called Moriscos. We were never called Christians. So it's right in the Moorish Quran what we're supposed to do when it comes to their society. So when it says grand sheiks and chairmen are empowered to make the law and enforce the law, all right, so let me stop. The grand sheik and the chairman, that's what the Constitution says, are empowered to make the law and enforce the law. Every other religion has a system of law that governs every walk of their life. And whatever that law is, it's their law. And no one can get in the middle of it and say, well, you know, forget that. You have to obey our law. That's why the prophet said he was going to doggone put us in a place where we would not be molested by other citizens, because he gave us our own jurisdiction. It is said that the prophet said, yes, sir.
Did you hear what you just said? One of the words that you just used is other citizens. You know what that means?
Meaning European, U.S. citizens.
Other citizens mean that you are a citizen also, but of what? When you say
Moorish Divine National Movement.
Can I share something if I may? Let me share something real quick.
Yes, sir. Go
ahead. If I'm going too long, you let me know. You read the divine warning by the prophet many times, right? I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely.
The divine warning by the prophet, these are the prophet's words. These are the prophet words. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, not the divine constitution, the national constitutions, are all family bearing one.
It also says their, good brother.
Huh?
It also says their, good brother. It says according to their free national constitution, meaning their own.
Okay, let me just finish though. Let me finish.
All right.
I just want to finish. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of the constitution of the constitutional government are classed as undesirable and subject to inferior name and abuses, mistreatment that citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group to violate the national constitution of the free national government to cling to names and principles that delude to slavery. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God of Allah to warn my people of their sinful ways and go back to the state of mind of their forefathers of divine and national principles, and they will be law abiders and receive their divine rights as citizens according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. Now watch this. There is but one issue to be recognized by this government and of the earth. And it comes through your connection to the Moorish Divine and National Movement, which is
Islam.
incorporated in this government.
Islam.
Which is incorporated in this government.
Okay.
And recognize, let me finish. Only a citizen can incorporate a business which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all nations of the world. And through it, their children can receive their divine rights unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls. That's reference to the presidential election. That's a national ballot. That's not a local ballot. That's what this prophet is talking about. That's a national ballot.
Okay. Chapter verse on that.
Under the free national constitution of the state's government. In other words, you can go to your local polling booth in your state and you can vote for the national election. Let me finish. I'm going to read enough. It's going to get you good. And not under the granted privilege that has been existed for a condition for many generations.
You're coming up garbled there, brother.
Listen to what I'm saying. There is no voting in the Moorish Science Temple of America. So what is the Prophet Noble Drew Ali talking about? Secondly, let me finish reading real quick. You who doubt that I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know the law in City Hall. Know what law? Moorish law? In City Hall. And among the officials in your government, and ask them under intelligent tone. And they will glad render you a favorable reply. They are glad to see me bring you out of the darkness into the light. Now, let me drop down a little bit. It said the wealth of all national governments, gold, silver, and commerce belongs to the citizens alone. And without
Sir, you're coming up very garbled.
Oh, you can't hear me?
I'm reading along with you, but you're coming up very garbled, sir.
You might have to, I think, can y'all hear me in the audience? Are y'all able to hear me?
He might need to put some headphones in or some kind of.
You might need to put, because this you need to hear this. You got any headphones? Yeah, he might be on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's something on his end, Grand Sheik.
Yeah, he's on Wi-Fi. So the point in what I'm saying is the Prophet Noble Drew Ali wasn't establishing something new. This government that is established, our forefathers contribute to the establishment of it because we are the blueprint of government. Europeans, man, I don't want to make this a European Asiatic thing, but I'm just saying Europeans learned government from us. So whatever government they put together, who it belongs to? You. And this is why Prophet Noble Drew Ali says you must take your rightful place in the affairs of men. Hopefully he comes back on, but I'm going to keep on going until he comes on. Okay. Can you hear me now, brother?
Yes, sir. I hear you very well.
Okay, excellent. So I want to just repeat myself real quick that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is not talking about some autonomous government outside of this United States government that we're living in. Not in this document. Now, I want to finish up a few more things of this document. He says, I love my people and I desire their unity back to their own national and divine standard because day by day they have been violating the national constitutional laws of their government. Listen to this. Of their government, right? Let me just run it down a little bit more. All right. He says, if the Italians, the Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, and Turks and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. So what the prophet is doing here, whether people understand it or not, we are inclusive, not excluded. And now we must wonder why. Now we must try to ask ourselves, well, why did prophet make us inclusive? Because according to this document, we are inclusive. And it can go on more and more. I'm going to share one more thing to you. When you make the statement and say that the Moorish Divine and National Movement is where the prophet handled all his business, well, brother, let me share something with you real quick.
All right.
You got 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
The Moorish Divine and National Movement is the umbrella that houses the Moorish Science Temple of America and the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. This is why you will see up here at the top of this, you will see the Moorish Divine and National Movement. Come all ye Asiatic. This is an old flyer. But guess what? Through that, Moorish Science Temple of America, this was from medieval time, but I'll show you one from the time of the prophet. Meetings at Forster Hall. This is only the umbrella in which the Moorish Science Temple of America and the Moorish Holy Temple of Science and all of its auxiliaries exist. It's not one separate from the other. The Moorish Divine and National Movement is all the things that was established by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. It's not one separate entity that goes forth. It's not a civic organization. It's not a totally religious. It's civic, religious, all under one umbrella.
Islam.
And that umbrella that is in that organization that is leading the charge under that umbrella is the Moorish Science Temple of America and the Moorish Holy Temple of Science.
Islam, I'm not in variance with what you just said there, brother.
I mean, because he was going to represent the Moorish Divine and National Movement. What that meant is he was representing everything under that umbrella.
Absolutely. Well, does not the United States of America represent all 50 independent national states? Each state is a republic. Article 4, Section 4. It's its own government with its own constitution. Under the title, actually, before 33, it was United States for America. But it all fell under that title. And you just explained the same thing that the Moorish Divine and National Movement does with we Moorish Americans.
But what
I'm not in disagreement with you.
The only thing I'm saying to you is, though, what I'm trying to say to you is that people are trying to act as if the Moorish Science Temple of America have some special treatment as some independent sovereign nation. They don't have that. That's not true.
Well, Islam, or let's look at the definition, because, you know, I ask people this a lot of times. Well, what is the Moorish Science Temple of America?
I tell you, the Moorish Science Temple of America is this is what I teach. The Moorish Science Temple of America is an organization that's destined to metamorphose into a full-blown nation that can compete for the resources that Earth provides for us. But we are not there yet.
Okay. Now let us look at the definition of religious corporation, because that's what the Moorish Science Temple is.
No, it's not just a religious corporation. It's a religious corporation. It's a religious society. I can show you that also. Go ahead.
Hold on a second. A religious corporation is a type of not-for-profit organization that has a degree of autonomy and is known by other governments on a subnational level. Now let's go to subnational. Subnational level means a political division that exists entirely in another political division and is required to organize its own local government, being a nation entirely within a nation.
Can you source that? What's your source on that?
Look up religious corporation.
I mean, you ain't got to just give me the direction.
Oh, you can look up, you can Google it. You know, I've known that for quite a long time. Okay. That was the premises that was some of the information that let me know the direction I was going into, and that a lot of Moorish Americans have missed. So if we're a subnational entity, are you the major temple there in Baltimore, sir?
No. We just general headquarters.
You're a subordinate. You're a subordinate temple.
General headquarters. General headquarters.
Okay, I'm just trying to, so I can make the comparison.
Yeah, I want to catch one question though. But yeah, you can say subordinate to temple number 1. Yes, because it's temple 22.
Okay, so that would make you the major temple. That would make you the major temple. So that if that's the case, then you're supposed to have a working relationship with the governor, because that's the Moorish government, and
that's not how that works, brother. That's not how that works.
Come on now. That's what a subnational entity is.
No. What's your understanding of, because you're saying two different things. What's your understanding of major temple?
Well, no. Headquarters, home office is the grand major temple, correct?
No.
That's the grand major temple, right?
No. Home office is home office. There's no such thing as grand major temple. That's made up.
Really?
There's no such thing. The prophet.
Okay, let's look at chapter 47, verse 14.
The prophet never used that terminology.
Let's look at chapter 47, verse 14.
Okay, let's go. All right. I got you 1 second.
See, because one thing we do is we pride ourselves in chapter, verse, sentence, paragraph.
Okay, I got you.
We try to keep we try to keep ourselves from Islam.
I got you. And now, but I wanted to touch something else before we get there. Right?
Yes, sir.
And I lost my thought, but I'm gonna catch it real quick. Oh, first of all, two things where you're wrong. This way, and I say it respectfully. First of all,
yes, sir.
You're reading laws from Google, but you're not reading the laws in which the prophet used.
What do you mean, bro?
Listen to me. When you read laws from Google, you first have to compare them to what the prophet used, because if you can't compare them to what the prophet used, then anybody is subject to grab anything out of thin air. So let me show you what the prophet used. This what you see here.
Well, let's go to the historical. Let's go to the historic mention of America, brother.
Hold up. No,
where it says that he established the. Go ahead.
Listen.
Go ahead.
This is how the prophet established the Moorish Science Temple of America. He said it's incorporated in the government. This is the affidavit that he filed in Cook County. Right here.
Go ahead and read the doggone law, brother. Go to the historic message to America where he broke it down, what he did.
Let me finish. Our authority in Cook County, August 1st, 1928. This is how he established. But what law did he establish it under? He established
in accordance with the laws of the Secretary of State of Illinois.
No.
All right, that's what it says in black and white. Historical message to America.
Hold up, it's a little bit deeper than that.
All right, now
I'm gonna go to the end. It's hard to see, but it's Hurd's Revised Statute. So if you want to understand what the prophet established, you just can't Google religious corporation. You have to understand.
Hurd's Revised Statute, section 170. Read it,
brother. You're not letting me finish.
I'm sorry, sir.
I'm gonna take notes and then let's organize this.
Y'all want to go by time? Y'all want to go by time?
Yeah.
How much? 5 minutes?
I want to just finish this statement real quick, brother. You just said Google it. You said Google.
Yeah.
And what I'm telling you is that you just can't Google religious law because it's not an ambiguous organization that was set up ambiguously. It was set up specifically according to the statutes of Hurd's. So to understand the Moorish Science Temple of America.
So U.S. law is more powerful than God's law?
No, brother. I'm trying to help you to understand something. You can't mix apples and oranges now. We're talking about religious law. You said just Google religious law. I'm telling you that you just can't Google religious law in relation to the Moorish Science Temple of America because there's a specific law that governs the establishment of the Moorish Science Temple of America from a legal standpoint. From a legal standpoint. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But with that being said, brother, you take 5 minutes and say your claim, and then I will respond as fast as I can in 5 minutes, and make your position known and go strong with it.
Yes, sir. All right. So now, Smith-Hurd's revised statute. Now, if you look at the historical message to America, it says that we established the Moorish Temple of Science as a civic organization. The sister, and I'm paraphrasing, since the organization was largely religious, we, in 1928, we established the Moorish Science Temple of Religious Corporation in accordance with the laws of the Secretary of State of Illinois. All right. Under and accord is two different things. Under means under the jurisdiction of. In accordance means by example of. All right. Under that, from the direction of that. All right. So now, Smith-Hurd's revised statute. All right. It is the legislation from Illinois that gives Illinois officials instructions on how to deal with religious corporations. Every state has a Religious Corporation Act. In South Carolina, it's 33-31-180. In Connecticut, is Connecticut General Statutes 598, 33-264J. And they all say the same thing as Smith-Hurd's revised statute. So the prophet established the Moorish Science Temple in accordance to the guidelines given by the Secretary of State. And we established the temple in Connecticut. All right. The lady told us plain because we were having problems with state troopers. All right. So when we went there, the state troopers asked, well, does a nonprofit have immunities? And of course it doesn't. So they tried to use that. But then we went down there and she says, oh, yeah, I remember you. And I asked her the same questions as well. Profits and nonprofits have to make reports and pay doggone fees and all this stuff here. And I said, well, what about religious corporations? They call it non-stock religious in Connecticut. She says, oh, after you do the initial registration, you didn't even have to let us know when you change your address. So the state has nothing to do with the religious corporation because of the First Amendment to the Constitution. It says not even Congress can pass a law with respect to your religion or the practice and establishment thereof. You see what I mean? So there is no authority that Smith-Hurd's revised statutes has other than giving the instructions for the establishment of a religious corporation. You can check in Maryland. We've already done it. You can check in Florida. You can check in Pennsylvania. They all say the same thing. It's one structure for establishing a religious corporation. That's why the prophet put it in the historic message to America. Now, once you establish the religious corporation, you put it on the county record, on Cook County record, or on a county record because it stays there for 100 years. Your county record is your de jure court, is your constitutional court. And that's why it was done that way. So he gave you the instructions for the establishment of a religious corporation. That's why Moorish Holy, we have 16 of them by the prophet's example. And they're all autonomous, meaning that the laws, the constitutions, and the bylaws of each religious corporation is decided upon by the grand body of the originators of the religious corporations. See what I mean? So we did these corporations so that we would give government and an autonomous government. So outside people couldn't interfere. Municipalities have nothing. The municipal law has its own law. The county sheriff has more authority because it's unincorporated. It's constitutional. All right. Then you have this. Then you have the 1 minute.
You got 1 minute.
Then you have the state law, and the state law it is on its state constitution, just like what South Carolina Codes 33-31-180 says. It says if the religious corporation is in conflict with this chapter, meaning their legislation, the religious corporation takes precedence pursuant to the U.S. Constitution or the state constitution or both. So that means religious law is more powerful then, and the doctrine that you quote in your religion is law. And when you have somebody attacking you, you can defend yourself with that law. Islam, I yield. And that's Moorish customary law.
All right. Brother, you say a lot of things and you're really double talking. I'm gonna try to keep up with it. First of all, the prophet set up the movement under Herds Provide statute for the express purpose that Herds Provide statute does not last 100 years, brother.
Didn't say that, brother. Didn't say that.
What did you say?
Actually, I said that when you put the record of that on Cook County records,
you say it lasts 100 years, but brother,
it's on record for 100 years,
brother.
But the religious corporation is perpetual, brother.
Brother, listen to what I'm saying. All right, let me talk real quick.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, brother. Herds Provide statute is the catalyst in order to build into an autonomous government. But the moment that autonomous government means that you're a sovereign nation. That's what that means. That you're a sovereign nation. That now let's get real down to the nitty gritty. When you're a sovereign nation, you flush your own poop. You service your own poop. You have your own economy. You don't have to go to another government and to file anything. Yet, if you are under the jurisdiction of a government, then there is remedy to exit out of that. And Herds Provide statute is that remedy. Nitro just said it best. It's the structure template. That's exactly what Herds Provide statute is. It doesn't make you autonomous.
You're using
what makes you autonomous is when you declare your sovereignty. So
no, sir. The word autonomy is religious immunity.
No, what I'm saying is I'm talking about full autonomy. Now, the Moorish Science Temple of America, you're talking about religious. Moorish Science Temple of America is civic also. Moorish Science Temple of America is not a 501c3. That's another reason he filed it under Herds Provide statute, because he could see down the road and could see that 501c3 that don't allow you to activate yourself politically can be a hindrance. Now, why would you want to activate yourself politically in a government that is not yours? Now, hold up. Let me share this real quick before he called my name. Let me share this real quick before he called my name. Now, why would you want to act? I'm gonna bring this up real quick. Let me find it real quick. I just thought about it, so I'm gonna bring it up real quick. Where the Prophet Noble Drew Ali says, we will elect a congressman. Why would you be voting if you are detached? Brother, that doesn't make sense.
Chapter verse.
Huh?
Chapter verse.
Oh, what verse?
For my improvement.
I'm about to show it to you. Let me show you this. Let me screen share real quick. About to show it to you. Let me do the screen share real quick. Make sure you can see it. Oh, I gotta stop it. I'm on the wrong thing. Here we go. Because I'm going off everything that you're saying, and I'm going to just blow it up for you. One of the first city notables to greet the prophet on his birthday, alderman. They voted for alderman right there. They voted for him. Why would you be voting? You know what I'm saying? Why? It doesn't make sense. If
1 minute, Grand Chief.
Okay. I'm gonna give you one more. Oh, here we go. That's what I'm looking for right here. Right here. If you're saying that you are separate of this nation, then in the course of the national events, now comes the time, the election of a congressman for the first congressional district. Never before in history of the nation of the nation has so much attention been focused on the small parcel of the country, special interests. Then he goes on to talk about, we will elect a congressman. That congressman that was elected, who was it? Why would the Moorish Science Temple of America participate in the United States political process if they're not even a part of it? Brother, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, Islam, go ahead. I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
That doesn't make sense. You don't participate in a political process if you're not a part of it. Non-citizens can't even participate in the political process. And he's talking
That's your
about
time, Grand Chief.
A congressman.
Okay, Islam. I tell you, like Elder Sifu Sharif Anio Bey shared with me back in 2011. What he shared with me was the prophet and the temple, they administered what they call a block vote. A block vote means that the members write down a ballot and a representative goes to the governor's office, like an electoral vote, and cast their ballot that way. They won't be at the high school in the little booth clicking the button like the Negroes. Okay. They do it like an electoral vote. And it only makes sense to put the person who supports you in government, like Alderman McGee.
Can I respond?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
No, I don't want
you on my minutes, man. Now you on my minutes, man.
All right, go ahead.
I pause your time, brother. I pause your time.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother. I just need to write.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
You said they create a ballot and they went in a room and they select. Okay, go ahead. Now you go.
So that's what he taught me about that block. Call it block votes, where like in electoral college, now we know that we don't vote for the president. You know what I'm saying? There's a few people for each state that actually cast that ballot to decide on who the president is. The brother told me that we do what they call a block vote, and that makes sense. Hey, brother, that's like an electoral vote. Like it is said, it is rumored that the mob, that's why they pay certain people to look after their interests. So you're right, it only makes sense, but not in the sense of we are politically intertwined with the United States Corp. And that is the misunderstanding. There are two types of citizens on this country. Those are those who belong to United States Corp and those who are Americans. Americans deal only with the law of the land. That phrase means constitutionally.
We doing 5
so
minutes.
So that's right? Where the division is.
Islam, Grand Sheet, we doing 5 minutes. He got 3 minutes left.
Brother. Come on, brother. Come on. Knock it out the park.
Yeah, so and that's what we have to understand. I think that's the biggest part of the confusion is the prophet gave us a constitution to bring us back to the constitutional fold, because Dred Scott versus Sanford said we will never be citizens under the U.S. Constitution. So the prophet gave us our own constitution to bring us back into the constitutional fold of government, so that we could do acts like block votes and do things that we were politically able to do back in the early 1900s, when most Negroes couldn't even fathom that. You see what I mean? So that's what we have to understand, that we're on the Republic side of the fence. We're not on the U.S. side. A lot of times we interact with U.S. citizens who belong to Washington, D.C., who have IDs that have their names in all capital letters. This is all significant. When the prophet already gave us an ID, only thing we were supposed to do was upgrade it. See what I mean? All these things are significant, because if you have a contract with the United States, you're a United States citizen, and you're subject to that law, which is Christian law, which is against our law, per our doctrine, chapter, verse, sentence, paragraph. That's why he said in that same document you quoted, the 14th and 15th Amendment are not necessary for the salvation of my people or citizens. The 14th Amendment is what makes you a U.S. citizen. So if the prophet said it's not necessary, then we are not U.S. citizens. So we don't participate in the U.S. citizen political jurisdiction. Now, we may influence their officers, but, you know, and I said this and it put a big old uproar, you know.
Islam, you got
By
1 minute.
all rights. Yes, sir. By all rights, we have enough Moorish Americans in this country where we can vote for a Supreme Grand Sheik. And that be our national ballot. And when he gets voted in, he go and meets the president. And he discusses matters for Moorish Americans like the prophet did. And that's just an idea. But it makes sense because we haven't done this in almost 100 years. And this is why you got a lot of confusion. We really got to structure the government of the Moors and the law of the Moors. Because it's only one set. When I go chapter verse, when you go sentence paragraph like you did, it's only reading one thing, unless you just can't read. And that's how we got to doggone come together. Personal opinions, we got to throw that to the side for a second. And
Islam,
we got to study this.
That's time, bro.
Islam, thank you.
Brother, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is the prophet, so he's the measure which one has to understand. You don't have to figure this out yourself. He already gave us the answers right here. Right here. All registers, when you're talking about a block vote, this is the basis of a block vote. All registering. He's talking about Moorish American Muslims now. They're registering to do what? To vote. The 3,000 Muslims of the Grand Temple and the West Side Temple are making ready to register every man and woman in order to take the lead, for various candidates whom they've been instructed to vote for. Example of a block vote. We here in Baltimore and Park Heights, we don't have to go into a little room. We say, listen, I know everybody is not so much familiar with all of the candidates on the ballot, but I have done the research. I have even had a meeting with this person, and this person is going to bring us the goods. We need everybody to meet at this polling booth on this day and vote for Jelani. And for aldermen, we need everybody to vote for Moorish Bay. Then we need 3,000 people. Do you know even today, 3,000 people in any city district would take a vote even to this day? You could take over city council even till this day. This is why he calls it your government, because the only reason that they're getting over is because we're not participating. We could take it over. 3,000 people could shift the vote right here in Park Heights and take it. Take it. Little Boo-Boo now, Little Shiny now, all of them. Now I'm going to read it one more time. These are the people that they was instructed to vote for. Alderman Lewis B. Anderson, Honorable George Blackwell. He was the head judge, mind you, talking about crazy sentences. Honorable Oscar DePriest, Honorable Robert H. Jackson, all working through the regular Republican organizations, of which the Honorable Daniel M. Jackson is our matchless leader. Our matchless leader. All know the whole situation. In other words, we've discussed it many times. You know how we moving. And have their own way in time to give the order to go.
What year was that, brother?
Listen,
Please.
the Muslims will be ready. This is total participation in the governmental process of taking over your city, your town, and even the country if you wanted to. This is your.
What year was that, dear brother? Please.
No. You time ain't up yet. You got a couple minutes. Time ain't up. Hold up. This is your government. We just don't participate. And anybody telling you not to participate, what they're doing is, see, the gangsters knew how to participate to get some leeway. Other foreigners know how to participate and take over their local area. You follow what I'm saying? Now, last but not least, you said, we doing what Negroes do and none of that. Brother, before the Reconstruction, before the Reconstruction, brother.
Which one, brother?
These were all brothers that was in power. So it did. See, these were all brothers that was in power. And to the South, that's a whole nother story, and I don't want to waste my time with that. But what I'm telling you is that they got these brothers out of power. They got these brothers out of power by racism and by threatening, by burning homes, by doing all that. But if the political process had no power in it, why was they so threatened? And so when brothers outside of the temple or outside of other organizations saying don't participate in the political process, what happens is that they giving their power away. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and I quote, he said, the gold and the citizens and the commerce is for the gold, the silver, and the commerce is for the citizens alone. In other words, if you take your place in the political affairs of men and take over your local area, you don't, in the words of Naeem Bey over there with Be the Power, you don't fight the power, you be the power. You get the pen in your hand and you write the check. The gold and silver represents the money that is owned by the citizens. Every time you pay a tax, you pay into it. Every time you buy something, you pay into it. That's your money.
Islam. Another thing we're not looking at. The things that the Prophet did came before May 5th, 1933. May 5th, 1933, Franklin Delano Roosevelt made you turn in all your gold and silver. And if you didn't, it was a $10,000 fine or 10 years in jail. All right. Then he took the birth certificate and pledged each individual, mostly Asiatics, to those birth certificates and made trusts and bonds with those. That changed the game altogether. That's when we started having permission to vote every 20 years. See, they changed the game with 33 because then they monetized everybody. Everything became commercial. They even did that to the Europeans, and that's why you got your sovereign citizens movement. Heck, we helped kill up all these doggone indigenous people, and now you're going to put us in the same slave bag as them? You're going to make us 14th Amendments too? All right, I'll show you betraying me. And that's what them sovereign citizens is about. They feel they've been betrayed. But what they did was enslave us with documentation, with contracts. And that changed the whole political outlook from the early 1900s to the 1930s. You know, this controversial statement is made in the oral statements that Grand Sheikh Arlov Ill, or one of those, it was one of the people who wrote the publication, said that hold on to your slave names. There's wealth attached to the slave name. Well, that publication came out in the 40s, if I'm not sure. But now it makes sense because they turn everybody's, they develop a birth certificate and then turn everybody's wealth into a trust. So you hold on to the name by way of the trust, because the Prophet said you must proclaim the free national descent name of your forefathers. Then he said you must get rid of the names and principles that delude to slavery. That's Toby instead of Kunta Kinte. All right, there's not no Bay and Ill are titles of nobility. So that's not a free national descent name. That means the names that your father, your foremothers and forefathers carried. There's no Japanese people named Juan Gonzalez. There's no German people named Kenneth Mafuka or Molifi Asante. We're the only people in the world that are still clinging to names and principles that allude to slavery. All right, Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't tell it. He's not gonna contradict himself. But it was the New Deal was the New Deal. So there are new situations we have to deal with. We can't just all go and get our nationality card, put our heads between the flags, put the sprinkle on it, all that stuff there, and read the nationality card, and poof, We Moorish Americans, free from the doggone rope of Jim Crowism and 14th Amendmentism. No, there are other steps that have to be made to get us independent from that. That don't mean separate. Chinese have their own doggone government in every state of the union, but they'll still go to doggone StopRight. They'll still talk to you on the street. There's not little Italy, little Tokyo, little Korea.
1 minute, brother.
Yes, sir. These are all body politics. Where's our Moorish community? Where's our Moorish body politic? Where you go down a certain street, you don't see nothing but turbans and fezzes. And the political structure is governed by them, like Act 1 says we're supposed to do. This is what I'm all about. I'm not trying to doggone reinvent the wheel or go against the prophet's teachings. That's why we do chapter, verse, sentence, paragraph. And if it does not happen before July 20th, 1929, we don't observe it. We look at it, but we don't take it as law. Islam. So, and one more thing, the assumption that I'm not part of the temple because I'm not part of your particular grand body, because there's several.
I didn't say
you
that.
know, I came up in the John Gibbons Hill. You said it several times. I said it. My lineage is John Gibbons Hill, originally from Grand Sheik Jerome Grant Bay.
Let me confirm.
All right. Then it moved on to Grand Sheik Ali Mishael Ill.
You're not a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America. You said that you was a part of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. That's what you said. I didn't say
no. When I first started, I told you I was ordained Grand Sheik Divine Minister under the embryo Moorish Science Temple of America, May 26, 2006.
Temple of America, the embryo Moorish Science Temple of America. But whatever. It's cool. But I don't want to say.
Remember, I'm not a leader. I'm a follower. But I don't know any different.
But I don't want to stay there. I want to talk about this citizen thing real quick. Right here, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali writes, "We of the Moorish Science Temple of America, like countless other American citizens." You see that? You know what that means, right? When he says other, that means that
you there, brother. You're garbled. I can't hear you.
Okay, you might have to come out and come in. It says, "We of the Moorish Science Temple of America, like countless other American citizens." The connecting word is other American citizens.
Yes, sir. But you have to understand, American and U.S. citizen are two different things.
Hold up, brother. Let him. He's still on the clock, brother. He's still on the clock.
Let me finish. I'm going to show you something in a second. Just let me finish. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, "We of the Moorish Science Temple of America, like countless other American citizens, know that we
American citizens, brother, not U.S. citizens."
Brother. I'm going to tell you that in a minute. I got that for you too. Just wait. You're killing my time. Must live in harmony, friendship, and goodwill, whatever our race or creed may be. Then he goes on to say, it is only, I'm going to blow it up so everybody can see it on their phone. Whatever their race may be, or creed may be, it is only purely from a religious standpoint. Hear that? It seems at this time that we differ from a large number of our fellow Americans. We believe and foster the Muslim religion. We believe in its principles. We believe in its principles of its teachings insofar as they can be adopted into American life. That is hereby. Obey hereby. As it can be adopted into American life. We feel that the Christian religion is right for those who prefer it. In America, religious freedom is guaranteed all under the Constitution. Under the Constitution. Not your Constitution. The American Constitution. It says in America, religious freedom is granted under the Constitution. Then it goes there. We are interested in freeing ourselves and our children from our greatest plight. What is the greatest plight, Prophet Noble Drew Ali? economic slavery. We believe this can be done by encouraging, patronizing, and establishing our own businesses, enterprises, and cultivating our own acres of land. So you ask, where is the little Moorish village? You haven't built it yet. We haven't built it yet. You're asking, where is it? But you haven't built it yet. We haven't built it yet. You can't ask where's something at if you haven't built it yet. If you haven't started on a block, if you haven't started with commerce, you haven't built it yet. That's why it doesn't exist. We welcome into our folds. We welcome into our folds men and women of our group of all sections, all trades, occupations, and professions of sound mind and good character. Most people calling themselves Moors don't have sound minds, nor do they have good character. We are friends and servants of humanity. We are dedicated to the purpose of elevating the moral, social, and economic status of our people. We have set to do this through a wide and comprehensive program embodying the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Now, I want to go back up here real quick and show you when he used other American citizens, you have to pay close attention to that.
1 minute, Grand Sheik.
Because now what I'm going to show you is one more thing. You said, that's American citizen. Oh, it's not U.S. citizen. There's two different things. Well, right here, when the prophet filed this paper in 1926, let me read it up to you. Where the undersignee, Drew Ali, James Lomax, Johnny Reynolds, Eddie Watch, we the undersignee, Sammy Racker, citizens of the United States. They agreed when they signed this at the bottom that they were citizens of the United States. So when you say they are not citizens, Mr. Marvin, I welcome you up here. Bring the debate to me. So when you say that we are not citizens, yet Prophet Ali is intermingling the concept of citizenship with American and citizen of the United States by signing this document, what are you talking about?
That's your time, Grand Sheik.
I think he froze right now. Mr. Marvin, you can come in and get some of this smoke too. Give me the topic, brother. Mr. Marvin, taharkabay@gmail.com. Somebody put my email in there. Tell Mr. Marvin, come on up in here. taharkabay@gmail.com. You can get it tomorrow. I think he froze up. You can get it tomorrow. Come on, give me the topic. Give me the topic. Because most people don't follow Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And that's why what I talk is foreign to them. It's foreign to them. But see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you all Drew Ali. I'm going to give you all Drew Ali. I don't care if you don't understand it. I don't care if you don't understand why we have the Moorish flag that you call the Moroccan flag. You think it's a Moroccan flag? I don't care if you think we're waving the American flag because you don't understand why. I don't care why you don't understand voting. I don't care why you don't understand. If you want understanding, all you got to do is hit me up. But because you don't understand and you just grabbing for straws and making up anything, it ain't going to get you right. It ain't going to get you good over here. Because everything I source is going to be Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Because, and when you talk about, when a brother starts talking about the New Deal happened, you telling me that a prophet cannot see what is yet to come? Ain't that what a prophet does? When a prophet established something, you don't think they got the insight, foresight, and all the sight to see what is to come so we can be going right through it? Come on, man. Yeah, where Mr. Marvin at? Mr. Marvin, come take his place. I got some time today. Look at my watch. I got time today. But I'm going to turn up for Cryptonomics. He in the building. I'm going to look at my watch. I got time today. He say, I'm having church. Come on up and get some of this. Come get some of this gospel then. Let's put the link up in here. Take his place. We need a fill-in. We need a fill-in. You know what I mean? Because many people see me on Moorish World TV and I'll be discussing other topics that they don't realize that this is the real deal right here. You know what I'm saying? This helped save my life. This can help save our nation, you know, and I don't browbeat people trying to join this. I know what it can do. You know what I'm saying? And you have to do this willingly. You can't, like, unfortunately, bro probably don't come back in. But unfortunately, many people make this stuff up. They need to get around some elders that got it the right way. They studied, they traveled, they met people, and they learned to decipher the lies from the fake stuff. And stop making buddy. And this is for everybody. I hold them down. Stop making buddy friends just because you like people. You can still like people, but you ain't got to agree with their lies. You can like people, but you ain't got to agree with their lies. I mean, where the other guy? He want to come in? What happened? What happened? Marvin. Marvin don't want to come in. What happened to Marvin? Marvin tripping. So anyway, let me ask the moderator. Moderator, do you have any questions that that we can walk out the door with this demonstration with?
Islam Grand Sheik. The only question I have is, why do these people think they can debate with you, man? When you come with straight facts. I really don't have no question. It's just a statement. You come with straight facts, and you come with receipts, and these people just come with just their mouthpiece and just talking. They don't come with no receipts. Just like the last brother you just had a debate with. Brother didn't have no receipts. You come up with receipts with proof. You're elegant with your when you're explaining it. I just don't understand it. I want to see this other brother come up in here.
See, this is the problem that people don't get. People think that the Moorish Science Temple of America is a church type organization because we go under the term religious. But the religious door gives you the flexibility that you need to get to independence, autonomy, and to be a sovereign nation. The religious door does that. You know what I'm saying? This is why the Vatican has a little parcel of land, but they got their own money, they got their own bank, they govern themselves. And they just got into the governing of themselves in 1929 after all those years of working. See, many of us, we don't like to put in the work. We want to go file some paperwork and go in the court. Why are we always in the courts? We're talking about Moorish law. Why are we always in the courts? What are we doing in the courts? We should be on the street. We should be uplifting people on these highways of the internet. Why are we in the courts? Only time we should be in the court is we dealing with somebody that has taken advantage of our property monetarily.
So, I mean, there's various reasons there, brother.
Why were you in court?
Islam? Me?
Yeah.
Do y'all want to go by the timer again, or y'all freestyling it?
No. I wanted to show.
Well, brother, when I mentioned I
wanted to show one more thing real quick. For all the people that think that the Moorish Science Temple of America is just some religious jackpot of an organization. No, we walk through the door of religion. However, we deal with civics because we live in a society that is predicated upon civics. Now, when you look at the United States of America, the way that the government is set up, and you look at the Moorish Science Temple of America, the organization is set up, it mirrors each other. It mirrors each other. This is something that I teach in the temple. I teach it all the time.
Can't hear nothing you're saying, brother.
Something wrong with your mic, brother. I teach it in the temple all the time. It mirrors. Now, are we there yet? Are we a Moorish American government yet? Heck no. We don't even own a block. We don't even own 2-3 houses on
That's
one block.
our fault.
I know that.
That's
but
our
when
fault.
You start talking about autonomy and speaking the sovereignty type language, then you're out of order because you have not done anything to even have membership. You have not done anything to have citizens. You have not done anything to write any laws that you can screen share right now. How many laws can you screen share from your organization? How many customs have you made for your organization?
We have 23. It's called the Declaration of Allegiance.
What I'm saying is,
And
can you screen share it?
and we not on my phone, sir.
But
I will produce the document at a later time. I'm on my cell phone.
Brother, it's okay.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, how many businesses structurally do you own?
Well, we have several ministries instead of the businesses. You know, we need finance to work those businesses, but we have every business as a religious corporation in place well over 10 years. But what happens is when we structure the business, and we announce it, we have the Ministry of Land, Transport, and Navigations, not the right to travel.
Located? Where can I Google it?
You can.
Ministry of Land, Ministry of Land, what it's called?
Land, Transport, and Navigations. Got 3 locations, one in Canada, one in Connecticut, and one in South Carolina.
Okay, Ministry of Land and what? Transport and Navigation, right?
Transport. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Secretary of State file number.
No, what I'm trying to find is, what exactly business does it handle? What is it about? Because
the transportation for Moorish Americans. The transportation for Moorish Americans.
Let me ask you a question, brother.
Yes, sir.
When you say something like that, and I Google it, and you say Google it, I don't see it anywhere. So now I'm asking you transporting Moorish Americans, like from where? Can you explain it?
I just did. We take care of transportation needs.
What I'm saying is, y'all got
transportation needs. No, dear brother.
What I'm saying is this, brother.
Provide.
What I'm saying is this, brother. A nation needs businesses and commerce. You're talking about transportation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you, and I said to you, I said, what solid brick and mortar businesses that you have? Because when you talk about nation, you need some type of something on the land. You have to build your infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just in a community, I'm asking, where is it?
Physical location?
Yeah.
That's what you asking for?
Yeah.
Well, our physical location in Connecticut is 37 Howell Street. That's where it's located at.
This, brother.
There is no address requirement for a religious corporation.
Bro, no, it's fine. I'm trying to make a point. When people come, especially to my platform, and they begin to talk that they're this government thing, that they're this autonomous thing, and that they are separate from the political process, or that they don't do the political thing, I'm like, how do y'all do that? How do you do that minus all of the bells and whistles that make a nation move? You told me yourself, you said, brother, I can be on for a little while, but I got to go to work at 11 o'clock. Now, I don't know what you do for a living. But in the work that I've have done for our people, I ain't got to move nowhere. We can talk
Islamism, brother. That's good stuff.
We can talk.
That's good stuff, brother. See?
All night long.
Yes, sir.
Until my wife said, turn it off.
And I know that's right. And that's a good thing. And that's a blessing, dear brother.
No. What I'm saying is that I believe in the teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And in order to make myself accessible to build that which I believe in, I can't be punching no clock.
I know that's right, but some of us still have to, dear brother. You have a blessing.
When you say that you run an organization, my first duty is to Allah, my family, and my people. That's
Islamism.
My duty is not to going to, I mean, praise the Lord for it. My duty is not going to, brother, I gotta go now. Because this right here is powered by the Almighty. This right here is powered by Allah. We got 87 people listening right now. This could change somebody's life.
Absolutely. But what you're doing is
sentence, you may have to say, brother, you know, I got to go work. I got to go. That's
of course. But I mean, you're talking about
wrong with that. No, brother, listen.
But you're talking about 85% of the grand sheiks out there, brother.
Yes, brother. This is why I'm saying that we're slipping, because Prophet Noble Drew Ali's work was interwoven into his uplifting acts. He didn't have to,
you're right.
He didn't have to uplift and then say, okay, stop the uplift, gotta go to work. Everything that he did,
you're right, brother.
Interwoven. And so this is what I'm saying. So you're not.
Let's keep it 100 right quick. Hold on a second. Islam. Let me keep it 100 right quick. Tell me the average temple whose members will even pay their dues, dear brother. You know this is a reality.
Ours do.
Long and they won't pay their dues on a regular basis.
Listen, let me tell you something.
They won't do it.
Say it right now. The moment that I stop rocking with that mystery, fake stuff, the chum get along stuff, and I begin to move on the letter and the spirit of the law of the prophet, I was able to bring those along with me that also move on the spirit and the letter of the law of the prophet. Therefore, they see. Let me show you something. This flag right here, that's a Moorish flag, right?
You freeze.
That's a custom Moorish flag. We didn't buy that. We are in the process of these flags, so Moors can have their own flags, and they don't have to go to the store and say, "Give me a Moroccan flag," and calling it a Moorish flag.
Islamism.
The dynamics or
that's right.
The schematics of a Moorish flag and the difference between that and a Moroccan flag. Those are two different things.
Islam.
And so
Islam, I applaud your industrious.
Our members produce. Matter of fact, look at Odette Magnum Bay. I pay my dues. Odette Magnum Bay pay her dues and then some. Let you would be a part of the temple and say, you know, we got a brother that needs some help. She the first one, second one, third one, because somebody gonna step up. That's just how because they're moving in the spirit of the prophet. So what I'm saying to you, brother, when we start talking about all of this autonomy and all of this stuff, but we ain't did enough.
Brother, you keep using those words, man. You keep using those words, brother. Listen,
so
I'm with the prophet 100%. The prophet saved my life also.
Are you a citizen?
You know what I'm saying? You can't paint me to be some kind of separatist, brother, because I'm not.
Are you a citizen?
If it doesn't say chapter, verse, sentence, paragraph of the prophet, then I don't move on it. But the reality of it is you're talking
citizen of the USA. Are you a citizen of the USA? U.S.A.
Absolutely.
And how do you describe that? Can you break that down to us? What that mean?
Say that again, brother.
If
you garble. You freeze.
If you was to explain to us exactly what it means to be a citizen of the U.S.A., how would you explain it to us? What is your allegiance to? I would
explain to you that I am a member, a citizen of a theocratic government society with religious corporations within the jurisdiction of the United States for America Republic, the constitutional fold. I am an American, not a U.S. citizen.
But the
not a 14th Amendment citizen.
No. Oh, let me share this with you. I like that too. Let me share this with you. You have to understand what that. When these teachers teach you something, you should go back and double back and check on them because they capping. You know what I'm saying? They capping real hard. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. You should go back and check on these. Whatever these teachers that then told you something, you should double back and you should read it with a magnifying glass.
I didn't hear nothing you said, brother.
Watch this.
Bro, everything you said before magnifying, I didn't hear it.
All right, well, here we go. I'm gonna say it anyway so the people can hear it. Because you keep talking about this 14th Amendment stuff. And you're not saying really what's this document is talking about. You know what I mean? It says the word Negro deludes in the Latin language to the word nigger. The same as the word color deludes to anything painted, varnished, or dyed. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers. That's a national descent name of their forefathers. That's Moorish. Because honoring thy mother and thy father, your days will be lengthened upon the earthland, which means that you would know the greatness of your forefathers and you will duplicate it in your children or teach your children to duplicate it, and your legacy lives on. The names have never, these names, Negro, black, and colored, has never been recognized by any true American citizen of this day. Through your free national name, you are recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by the said government in which we live. He's talking about the free national name being American. Now, let's touch the 14th and 15th Amendment. Prophet Noble Jelani words. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and the South in unit. It wasn't meant to free anybody. Placing the Southerner,
that's right,
who was without power, with the constitutional body. Now listen. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was in force since 1774 declared all men free and equal. That line is very important because he follows up and said, and if all men are declared free by the declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendment for the salvation of my people. Now, let me break it down for you. What the prophet is saying is that you were already, you're born free for number one. No one can make a law to free you. You're born free. And it's underscored in the Constitution of 1774 out of Philadelphia. In other words, they only underscore that natural right. So what the prophet is saying is that the 14th and 15th Amendment do not apply to you. It applied to the Southerner that was outside of the constitutional fold. So that's not saying that the 14th Amendment doesn't apply to you to make you a citizen. You are born free. You are born on the land, and it makes you a native of the land, i.e. a citizen.
I agree.
So that's what I'm saying.
When I agree, but there were people, the 14th Amendment, what it did was,
the 14th Amendment wasn't
what the 14th Amendment did.
They used it later for us. That wasn't the intention.
Well, along with the Emancipation Proclamation, all right, which transferred the slaves from the plantation to the federal government. That's what made the 14th Amendment citizens. All right. They are wards of the state. They belong to the federal government. That's what the word emancipate means, to transfer property. It doesn't mean free anything. So you're right. Under the Articles of Confederation and Association and the Declaration of Independence, all men were free and equal. All right.
So why do
the game changed with Dred Scott versus Sanford?
The 14th Amendment doesn't even apply.
Huh?
According to the teachings of the Prophet Noble Jelani, the 14th Amendment is a non-conversation. It doesn't apply to us. You're born free.
Right. Islam.
So now
I agree but gazillion percent.
So the point that I'm making is if we are born free, if we know that we were there in the establishment of this nation, this is why I got into the FBA conversation, Foundational Black American, because one person that know that we were there at the establishment of this nation even before the Europeans came here is a Moorish American. We know that, you know what I'm saying? And we can show receipts on that. So if we know
Islam.
that, why not we take our place in the affairs of men? We're trying to separate.
Good question.
While we're still amongst the thing. Why not take your place in the affairs of men? Block voting, businesses, cultivating acres of land. All of that going into court and filing paper and with the Quran in the court and all that ain't doing nothing for these children.
That ain't what we do.
What are some of your customs?
We don't do that.
No, what I'm asking you, okay, what are some of your customs that you practice as a Moor?
As a Moor?
As a Moor,
the same customs you do.
Every nation has customs. What are your customs? You don't do what I do. What are your customs?
You don't know what I do, dear brother.
Let me give you an example with customs law. A Native American called an Indian, quote unquote, some of their customs is they make moccasins, they do sweat lodges, some would build teepees, and this is just generally speaking. Generally speaking, every culture have customs. Chinese, they may be known for the Chinese New Year and the celebration thereof. I'm asking you, as a Moor, what customs do you have as a nation?
We greet in Islam, we part in peace. We give the Moorish American prayer. We adhere to the Moorish Holy Quran, the divine constitution and bylaws, additional laws, and the doctrine.
Okay,
all right?
What holidays? What customary holidays do you have? What you do? Tell us what you do. How you do that?
What do you mean, bro? We just finished the prophet Christmas, the prophet's birthday, the 15th, the New Year. Come on now, and then we also do the indigenous side because I am an indigenous chief. So March 21st, that weekend. What's the name?
Okay, hold up. You said the prophet birthday and what else?
Flag Day.
Flag Day.
You don't know about Flag Day?
How does that custom work?
Well, that's when you doggone give a gift to your grand chief, to the person, your leader, your religious leader.
What day is Flag Day?
Say what now? I don't recall it this time, but I know it exists. I have to look it up.
Brother,
being honest, just one of the things that brain fart.
We don't even like you. I'm not going to say we. So we, as an administration of the Moorish Science Temple of America, right? As administration, one of our sheiks in here, we commissioned him to help reestablish our customs and our holidays a few years ago. So every year, we celebrate.
So which customs did I miss?
I'm about to tell you. No, not mine. These are our administration. This is all right. That we established because we actually building upon the foundation of Prophet Noble Jelani. So we celebrate the spring equinox.
Islam, same here.
We celebrate Marcus Garvey's birthday. We also celebrate Prophet Noble Jelani's birthday. We already know how that go. We celebrate Prophet Noble Jelani's birthday. We have a convention every year and have been having it for the last 4 or 5 years. A convention, not a party. You know what I'm saying? A convention. I mean, where we look at our checks and balances and look where we need to go in the future. A convention like the Prophet, all those small. So the point that I'm making is, and I don't want to miss one. I don't want to miss one where my wife introduced something for the brother that was killed, and we acknowledge that brother day. I forget his name. But we acknowledge that brother day, and it's a the
Brother Barbay.
No. We do the winter solstice.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So the point that I'm making is, under the leadership of myself, we establish customs in order to bring our children enrichment of being a Moor. You understand? That's why I asked you, what customs do you follow? You know what I mean? What customs?
Well, you said Moorish American customs, brother, but remember, I'm indigenous as well. So we do the solstices and we do the equinoxes as well. So you didn't say that. You said the Moorish American customs.
Moorish American. I'm speaking of a Moorish.
Yes,
American.
sir.
Like, let me give you an example. Let me show you. We just talking now because I know you gotta go to
the work. Indigenous do the solstices.
Look, let me
show you.
See what I mean? Let me show you
That's
something.
your particular body politic. That's your customs. Chapter 47, verse 14. That's your customs.
Brother, I asked you
Okay, I
about
just
yours. I
told
didn't
you
say
mine.
mine. I didn't say mine.
And I told you mine
What are your customs?
according to the Moorish Science temple. But now when you talk about indigenous, I just told you that we celebrate March. That is the vernal equinox, the summer solstice,
Brother, you said that
the fall equinox, and the winter solstice.
Brother, how do you
Because I'm a Cherokee Washita chief.
Hey, brother, how do you say I'm a Moorish American, but I'm also indigenous? Being a Moorish American, all of that falls under
indigenous.
Ideal. So what are you talking about? That's not making a lot of sense. I'm a Moorish American, but I also am this. No, a Moorish American is a nationality. And under the umbrella of nationality are many different tribes. Many different tribes.
Yes, sir, dear brother. But remember, the solstices and the equinoxes are not in the Quran, Circle 7, nor the doctrine of Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
Sure it is. Sure it is.
They're not.
Sure it is. It's not mentioned in
but
those words.
There are Moorish customs that we use.
Sure it is, brother. Sure it is. It's the Prophet Noble Drew Ali instructs
chapter
us.
Verse.
The Prophet
chapter
Noble
verse.
Ali,
Send this paragraph.
I'm about to give it to you. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the earth land, with the Lord thy God Allah has given thee.
That's why you're not supposed to be Bobby Brown Bay. But that don't say nothing about your doggone what's your name. See what you're doing?
Our ancestors charted the stars. Our ancestors named what we know today as the equinox. Our ancestors did this science. Honoring our ancestors is in the Quran. So that's what we do. We draw from the Quran. Odette, I'm sorry, Odette. Women's Day. We got Women's Day. And we acknowledge Sister Pearl Drew Ali and all the women. We got, and listen, this is what administration does. Administration unfolds that from the basement to infinity. So when a person say that they are Moorish Americans and they're not practicing the things in their home, I want to show this to you, brother, and then I'm gonna let you rock. I want to show this to you. I mean, I ain't saying you're not practicing it, brother. Don't take it like that. Don't take it like that.
Brother, listen, man, I got thick skin, man. I'm just like, because I'm listening to what we're saying and we're saying the same things.
The video that my wife did on Prophet Noble Drew Ali birthday.
American holiday.
Right. Hold on. I want to go front for the bit. I'm only going to play a second of it.
Islam. All praise due to Allah, God, the ruler's root. Cause for which all things came, and honors to my noble, illustrious prophet here on his birthday today, January 8th. A few days before our holiday today.
Hold up. I just want to skip
and not by chance.
That's my wife.
Comes,
the winter solstice.
Winter solstice. Myself and my family and my organization.
See what I'm saying? That's me.
And in honor again of him.
That's our house right there. Oh yeah, you might can say, oh man, that look like, nah, boy, we bring Moorish customs so the babies can learn. That's right. That's a piece. She wanted to put love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, but I wouldn't buy all them psych up there. You know what I mean? But they can do the Seize the Shelf series. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is, this is Moorish at its finest. You know what I mean?
Brother, you're doing a great work.
No, what I'm saying is
you're doing a great work there, brother. So let's spread it.
Hey, brother, only thing I'm saying is, before we start talking about this independent nation stuff, before we start talking about Moorish law stuff, what about our enrichment of being Moorish Americans? Because Chinese people, they enrich themselves. You know what I mean? Have you developed a Moorish cuisine yet? I got a brother in here right now developing a couple of them in our temple. Because guess what? The Europeans have stolen pizza from us. They stole spaghetti from us.
I didn't know that.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know that either.
So when you're talking about being a nation is not shoving in court papers. Being a nation is not.
Why do you keep saying that, bro? That don't apply to me. We don't go to their courts. We have our own courts.
You got your own.
We don't get there. If we're accused to, we doggone paper and it disappears because they understand that we are part of another jurisdiction. Every religion has their own doggone judicial system.
Okay.
We have the Noble Drew Ali Supreme Moorish Customary Court. So we don't spend time in their court.
What you going?
That's not me. That's leave that for those who follow Ross Mariah and them.
What are you adjudicating though? Maybe you can help us out. What have you adjudicated?
I'm helping. People come to me. People come to me about child custody cases. They come to me about child support. They come to me about disputes.
How many cases?
Land disputes.
How many cases have you successfully won?
Well, quite a few. At least 3, I can say right offhand.
Drop me a link.
You know, and
where was it?
It was in the in family court and stuff like that. You're not gonna get no case law from it. I'm not Perry Mason Bay. No. I help these people with their situation. I help that stuff go away. And that's what you're supposed to do. They're supposed to doggone recognize the jurisdiction and back off. That's all. That's why you don't see Japanese and Chinese sitting up in court and Muslims and sheikhs and stuff sitting up in.
Yes, you do.
Bro, I don't see them.
Where you from? If they break the law, they go into court. Yes,
sir. But now you have to define law. Most of the time, we are all locked up because. Hold on a second, brother. Most of the time, most of the time, we are locked up because of contracts. The driver's license is a contract. It's saying that you operate a motor vehicle and you make money under the steering wheel. Title 18, Section 31 of the United States Federal Codes says that a motor vehicle is a mode of transportation used for commerce only. Okay. Taxi driver, police car, da-da-da-da-da. And that's why you need the license. No.
Do you have a license? Okay, that's good.
No.
Let me tell you something.
20 years.
Okay. Let me tell you something. Is your car registered?
To the temple, to the Ministry of Land, Transport, and Navigations.
Do you have insurance?
Yes.
How you get insurance without a license? No insurance company.
Because you don't need a license to get insurance.
Oh, yes, you do. Unless you get in, unless you do.
That's what you think.
A car have to be registered for insurance. Wait, let me see your insurance card.
No, man, that's a motor vehicle, not a car.
But let me see.
There's a difference between a car and a motor vehicle.
What's the name of
car? Short for horseless carriage.
Who manufactures your motor vehicle? Who manufactures your motor vehicle?
The Japanese. I got a Camry.
You got a Camry. Okay. Does it has a VIN number on it?
Yes.
And
we changed that to our identification number because the VIN number is not in their system.
Okay. So a reputable insurance company insures your Camry with no VIN
under
number.
A corporation
with no VIN number
on a corporate account. Under a corporate account, they do that.
Out of this brother gone, brother, you tripping?
Hey, I just wanted to ask you a question. Were you part of the group in Rhode Island, the Rise of the Moors? Like, would you going to see? I'm just asking. You look familiar.
Can I say L to the no?
I have another one. All right, so I have indigenous. I have a friend that I'm cool with, and he's a chief of the I can't remember the Narragansett Indians. So
Narragansett, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So now you can operate without a license, but you have to do it as a group. You have to do it as like Brother Tahaka said, we need to come together as a group.
You know how that works? In Arizona,
yeah, we have a corporate account there, brother.
Let me say this.
We have a corporate account.
In Arizona, they have tribes that are recognized and they are able to register their own vehicles with their own entity. They're just not able to willy-nilly create a corporate account with the corporate United States of America and then be able to, somebody got to show some ID in order to have those vehicles covered. And that ID has to be a driver's license, not just a state ID.
They tell
if you have a state ID, the state ID and the driver's license is the same document. If you get a state ID first and then you get a driver's license, you'll notice it's the same number. A contract is a contract.
Brother, it's the same number, but one is to validate that you are authorized to drive on the streets of your municipality.
They also
what it does is acknowledges that you have the training to operate a motor vehicle.
Absolutely.
And a motor vehicle is a motor transportation for commerce. I'm not talking opinion. I don't do opinion. Number one,
brother.
If I tell you something, I've either lived it or I named it. And look up motor vehicle. Brother, I gave you the law on what a motor vehicle is.
Let me explain something.
So your belief
I'm not going to try to stop you.
Versus what the law is two different things.
Hey, brother,
let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something. I've seen
research it for yourself.
Listen. I've seen this many a times, brother. Many times.
I have too.
And it's only a matter of time because the United States has jurisdiction. The motor vehicle
over what?
Over the land. It's a sovereign nation.
No, brother. The United States have jurisdiction over United States citizens. Look up Article 1, Section 10, Clause 7.
No.
Article 1.
Let me show you something, brother.
Article 1, Section 10, Clause 17 of the United States Constitution. You notice, brother, when I answer a question, I give you chapter, verse, sentence, paragraph, or I give you federal law or constitutional law. I don't give you opinions.
Let me show you something right here.
Christie versus Elliott says that speeding, not having a license or insurance are not arrestable offenses. This is what I'm telling you. Look up the right to travel,
brother. This is where you live at. A sovereign state or sovereign country. A sovereign state or sovereign country is a political entity represented by the central government that has supreme legitimate authority over territory. International law defines sovereign states as having permanent population, defined territory, one government, and the capacity to enter into relations with other sovereign state. It is also normally understood that a sovereign state is independent. According to the declarative theory statehood, a sovereign state can exist without being recognized by other sovereign states. Unrecognized states will often find it difficult to exercise full treaty-making powers or engage in diplomatic relations with other sovereign states. So what I'm telling you is about the first statement where you see at the end of the red that the United States is a sovereign country. That means
no, United States is a district.
They're a sovereign country. They control territory, and
they are a district. They don't even have a constitution. The United States does not have a constitution.
The territory,
it's a district,
brother,
between Maryland and Virginia.
Okay, but they control the territory.
They control United States territories that dwell within the republics. That's why you got South Carolina state, and then you got the state of South Carolina. The state of South Carolina is Washington, D.C.
I hope
two different jurisdictions in every landmass.
I hope that everybody learned something tonight. I hope that everybody learned something tonight. What I'm saying is this, family. Prophet Noble Drew Ali has never demonstrated any of these things.
He didn't have to. During that time, everything was constitutional.
Not even
John Gibbons Hill was his chauffeur. That's the only reason he needed the license, because he was a professional chauffeur.
No.
He took people from place to place.
No. You got that history wrong.
Yeah.
You got that history wrong. Because I got the receipts. John Gibbons Hill is a fraud. I got the receipts.
I'm sorry, he didn't take the prophet around. He's a fraud for being a chauffeur. What are you talking about?
I can show you.
You jumping subjects?
No. I can show you. Bro. Let me show you something. Where did you get that story that he was the chauffeur?
I was told that at the beginning of my Moorish American career.
You were told that. I can
that he brought the doggone prophet around.
I can show you that that's a wives' tale.
Okay, now well, show me then, because see that's the thing, Brother Taharka. You know, it's just like, let me use this quick analogy. I know this dude who was a green belt in martial arts, extremely talented. He made himself a black belt. He made others black belts, champions. And then somebody found out he was a fraud. But can you negate the fact that the students that he taught were champions as well?
That's not what I'm
so
disputing.
If my instructors told me something wrong,
listen.
If my instructors told me something wrong, if my grand sheik told me something wrong, then you know, you got to doggone, you got to kill the piper. You can't kill the mice.
No, what I'm telling you,
you got to kill the piper.
Listen. What I'm trying to tell you is that you're saying that somebody told you this story. I'm telling you that the story is error. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
And I'm saying, show me. And let me learn. Show me.
All right. I'm digging it up right now. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, show me, brother.
Give me 1 second.
Now in about 15 minutes, man, I got to go to work, man. You know what I'm saying? To earn a living.
If I can't find the folder, I send it to you. But what I tell you is that Givens L showed up right around the time that the infiltration was at its height. He was in cahoots with Kirkman Bey, and that's how he walked in that temple with Kirkman Bey. Yes, with Kirkman Bey, when they was overthrowing the movement to the fullest. With Emeliel in charge, he walked in that temple and they split, just like it says in the Bible. They split the membership. He took some, Kirkman Bey took some. They split. Now, during the time of the prophet, you would never hear nobody name. That's a made-up story. That's a made-up story. Let's listen to the story. This is how the Europeans. Let me tell you. This is how the Europeans make the story. Real quick. The European make the story up like this. Saul, who is most of the Bible is written on the New Testament, becomes Paul. Now, how does Saul becomes Paul? Saul becomes Paul because he's walking down the Damascus demonstration and said, he heard Jesus and said, why ye kick among the pricks, and et cetera, et cetera. And then he says that Jesus commissioned him to guide the Christians. So this is how Paul was working for the Roman government. But this is how Saul creeps in the fold. Now, another example.
He converted,
Constantine, he didn't convert. He infiltrated. Constantine.
No, Paul did. Saul did.
That's why he infiltrated. Constantine, he was on his way to Turkey somewhere. And he said he seen a big cross in the sky. And he says, by this sign, you shall conquer. The Christians, or those that was following the European Christian customs and ideals, they were large. He was a fighter for that government. And so you can't beat him, join him. He infiltrated and manipulated, and he went on to be somebody in history as great to the Europeans. But what's the equal thing that I'm saying? They looking in the sky. They looking in the sky. Pleasant Bay, he gets kicked out of the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated, and he says, in a dream, Prophet Noble Drew Ali told him to change the flag, make the flag in a dream. See how this worked? Now, Givens L says he was working on a car and he seen a star and a crescent in his eye. And that's how he knew that he was Prophet Noble Drew Ali reincarnated. And people go for it. But the system of Prophet Noble Drew Ali says that there's a grand body, there's a grand sheik and chairman, that there is local bodies that is subordinate to the grand temple, not grand major temple, the grand temple. Grand major temple is something other than a physical place. The prophet never had a grand major temple. That's what Rasadiel nam do. That's what Braswell Bay nam do. The prophet never had a place called Grand Major Temple. Never ever. Only Grand Temple.
Well, I'll read the verse again, brother. Yeah.
I'm going to read it to you, and I hopefully you can get what I'm trying. You can decipher what is actually going on. Here we go. Every subordinate temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under love, truth, peace.
The what?
Listen to me. I'm going to say it again.
Oh, the what?
Listen to me. Listen to me. You got to listen closely, because don't let your eyes deceive you. Every subordinate temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the Holy Prophet and the Grand Temple. There is nowhere in history where the Prophet Noble Drew Ali had a place called Grand Major Temple. And when you can't find it, that means there's levels to this. And you got to try to decipher what the Grand Major Temple is, because the biggest temple, it was Temple number 1, and it was called Grand Temple number 1. So tell me exactly what the prophet is saying. The prophets teach in levels, brother. They teach in levels. This ain't for everybody. They teach in levels. You know what I mean? Some of it could be metaphor, some of it could be allegory, and some of it could be literal. But in the historical record of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, there is no physical place called Grand Major Temple, yet there is a physical place called Grand Temple, and that was 3603 Indiana Avenue. So now you must do some deeper study and find out what is Grand Major Temple. Because it's
okay, but you know, okay. Well, I understand the explanation, but it is there.
It's there, brother, but you're on the surface.
Yeah.
You're on the surface. You're on the rocky soil. You got to dig deep. It's bigger than that. And now,
brother, I'm open. I'm open for improvement.
When you study the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's record, the Holy Quran or the Constitution or the questionnaire, you got to try to mirror it what Prophet Noble Drew Ali actually did. If you don't mirror it what Prophet Noble Drew Ali actually did, you will never really understand it. And this is why so many Moors are making up stuff on their own. Because they don't understand. They looking at the record, but they're not looking at the walking Quran, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. They're not looking at his footprints and comparing them to the record. You have to look at the footprints.
Well, brother, in a lot of religions, you have no other choice.
But
you have no other choice. Like the Muslims.
Most people don't know the historical account of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and so they make it up instead of praying, meditating, asking, what does this mean? And when a student is ready, the teacher will appear. I did it. I asked, what does this mean? I'm confused. But what I'm saying to you, brother, is so much more to the Moorish Science Temple of America that meets the eye. There's so much more to the Moorish Science Temple of America that meets the eye. We haven't even scratched the surface of what the prophet, in the last 100 years, we haven't scratched the surface of what the prophet did in a short 3 years. From 25 to 28, the prophet condensed the walk that we should be walking. And we haven't done.
I believe that. He gave us the foundation, though.
Scratched the surface yet. And so we start talking this law stuff. We start talking all. Moors need to get along. I'm not getting along with nobody who wants to follow lies. What I'm saying is, I get along with you. You're my brother. But we're not going to walk on the same path. If you're going to go that way, go that way. I got to go with the prophet.
So that's who I'm dealing with. I don't deal with nothing but. So, I don't have any choice but to look at chapter, verse, sentence, paragraph. until I'm given additional information to weigh it. But the safest path is to be able to quote what you just read.
Somebody said to me, brother, show where John Givens wasn't the prophet's chauffeur. I say you show me where he was the chauffeur, but I can show you where his members quotes him when he said he joined the temple. His members in Philadelphia.
I mean, hey,
and Pittsburgh.
I'm like this here.
His members give a historical account of him.
Well, I mean, look, brother, like I said, I'm not beyond getting knowledge. You know, my basis and the way we run our particular family is the safe way. If it's not in there in black and white, then it's questionable. Then somebody has to explain. But that way, it's not Jelani, bro. It's not Jelani. Huh?
You said that somebody told you though.
Right, absolutely. You asked me the question and I truthfully gave you the answer. This is what I was told in my earliest, because remember, man, brother, I was after I got out the Navy, I was 1,000,000% Afrocentric. I met all of the big ones, Naeem Akbar and Ashar Quasi and Amos Wilson, all these cats. And then I met a brother who complimented me on my African gear, floppy hat and everything. Then he asked me what my nationality was, and I told him African American. And that was my first introduction to what a Moor was. Then I went to Charlotte and was introduced to a Sheikhess, Anua Tierra El, who was the Sheikhess of Grand Sheikh Jerome Grand Bay of the Federation Moorish Science Temple. And that's when I got my first nationality card. But in hindsight, Sister Anua didn't know what the temple was about. You know, so then I got with nature in them. All right. And then we were going down to Baltimore to Mishael Ali Il. And several of those brothers went through their depth chambers, and one of those brothers turned out to be my Grand Sheikh, Mayat Spirit Bay. And he appointed me and 11 other people at a big conference in South Carolina, May 26, 2006. See, so at this time, I'm a follower. You know what I'm saying? Then he passed away. Then I got with other people, and other people, they seemed like they wasn't on the same page. They were trying to do their own thing. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't nobody talking about chapters and verses and what the prophet said. They was talking about what their program was. So well, I started studying the prophet. Yeah, everything but the prophet, brother. So I learned not to trust nobody, especially when these cats gave me instructions to deal with these people, and these people jumped on our whole community of 30 people plus my family, and then didn't give me no remedy, didn't tell me how to get out of it. I don't trust none of these Moors, sugar mouthing and you know, bootlegging people. Oh, I'm like you, brother. I can't stand you. You hear my life, I'm always banging on Moors. That's why I always call for us to look, let's get together on one page. Those people who know, teach it so we can doggone have one page so we can have some dignity in the doggone the planet. Well, like Fred Turner Ill.
Let me say this though. The thing is about the Moorish Science Temple of America, as I said in the beginning of this conversation, it's an organization. And most people don't want to be accountable to organization because just like you, they may have been burnt. But it's an organization, and the organization should have an agenda of where it's going. Do you see what I'm saying? What we're trying to do, like our agenda this year, it's time to build. Now, under that agenda, time to build, is a bunch of levels of building that must happen under this administration. And so most people don't like that accountability. Most people don't like to be browbeaten like, brother, come on, brother, you got to speak today. Brother, come on, you got to do this today. Brother, sister, where you at? Sister in the meeting. I mean, brothers don't want to say, like, come on, man. I was talking to a brother the other day where, man, it's time for us to get together and get some of this digital money. We need to come up with a app in order to sell to our people and anybody who wish to enjoy this app. We need to get into this technology. So we have agendas. We have a plan. You know, most people claiming this Moorish American identity, they're not moving on nationhood as it relates to establishing things that will sustain them and the generations to come. They just talking on the internet. Like, let me show you how.
Islam.
Go ahead, brother.
Islam, 1 second. To the brother, I see he investigating. Listen, that right to travel thing, all right? The highest courts in the land made these decisions on these things. So look up right to travel versus driver's license. All right. Not Jelani Bay, not renegade this. But
Islam,
what we
brother.
did is
Islam,
we
brother.
made a religious corporation according to the instructions of the prophet and the historical message to America. So we have a religious corporation that we deal with IDs and, you know, liberating the cars and different things like that. We don't do the right to travel like the sovereign citizens. We are a corporation that's religious in nature,
Islam,
like
brother.
Whole Foods.
I've been through that too. I've been to courts. I was fighting against them Europeans as well, man. I went through that until I found the real deal, Moorish Science Temple of America.
Let me say this. I was just going to say to my brother, right? And this is not a browbeat because I'm about to get out of here. You know, when we see an issue as Moors, we should be addressing it. Why should we be buying fezzes from Europeans and lauders after all of these years? The prophet said we need to be establishing businesses, et cetera, et cetera. So we see a need, and so our temple invested in that need. You know what I'm saying? We got fezzes, we got tassels. Like, how are we going to call ourselves liberated, free? We can't even provide our own fezzes. We can't even, most people can't even provide their own fezzes, man. Come on. Talking about this government, yet you right online talking about lauders, I need a fez, but then go right back and talk down to the European. Codependent. Now, some things we got to work towards to get, but the small things, man, we as Moors, we should bend this. It shouldn't take no Tahaka Bay to say, man, we need to be manufacturing our own fezzes. We need to manufacture our own flags. If you like, if whatever, we need to make sure that we got the charms that look like the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We need to do the research. You know what I'm saying? That like real talk. Like that's ridiculous. My wife just said something to me the other day. Like, for instance, give me a second. I want to show something real quick, if I can. So look, let me show you something. And I'm not bragging on nothing. I want to inspire people. You know what I mean? I want to inspire people. You know, like my wife got the button machine that makes the buttons that got the pin on them that you stick in. You know, the old buttons. You know what I mean? But we invested in some real hard steel buttons. You know what I mean? So just like when you see, if I can, what is it? So just like when you go to a political organization or somewhere, and they sitting up there with these little shiny little buttons on, like yeah, we gonna have ours too. We gonna be right. This ain't no flimsy little thing. This the real deal. You know what I'm saying?
Islam Grand Sheik, can I ask you a question? Where did you find me?
Right where he was at. To a degree. To a degree. You know what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is that until we come together, like these are small accomplishments. Let me say these are small accomplishments, but we can't get to the big accomplishments if we don't do the basic small accomplishments. How are we going to get to the big accomplishments? You know what I mean? How are we going to build on some land? I'm going to tell you, man, I be going broke trying to make sure that we can make sure that we have something to be proud of. Money be funny as ever, but Allah is the best provider. We be all right. You know what I mean? Because we need to have something that we're proud of. I think we got these. We got all sorts of stuff. And anybody that knows me, you know I don't be pushing it on people. I don't be pushing none of that stuff. Now
you don't see the chat.
Yeah, I'm about to pull that up in a second. I need to find
Patricia Felix said.
Tell Patricia, come on in. Let me send Patricia the link. I'm gonna find it real quick.
She said she wants to see the receipts about.
I am. I'm about to bring it in. I just need to pull it up. Let me find my bro. Find my bro real quick. If she send me her email, I can actually. Won't she come on next? Come on the next show. Give me time to find it. I don't know if it's on this computer. Let me see. Bam. Let me see. Anybody else want to come in?
They don't want no smoke, Grand Sheik.
So. Yeah, I got a whole. I can't find it right now. Oh, let me try right there. Be patient with me. Let me try one more thing. Anybody else want to come in? Ask any questions before I get out of here? And I told the brother before the show, I told him, I said, brother, please be patient with me because I am very passionate. And so if y'all see me yelling and all that, family, I told him before the show that I'm super passionate and that if I was to offend him, let me know and I will shut down. You know what I mean?
These brothers are super Moors in the chat, but when you ask them to come on, they turn into mice.
Yeah, that's how it works. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm about to show you right now. Now, this is just one example, but I don't have time to look for it all right now. So let me just give you one example because I got deep research on it. I've researched every person that was notable within the Moorish paradigm, and I found everything I could possibly find because I wanted to teach the truth. And so if Patricia's still there, I'm gonna just give you a glimpse of what I discovered. This is just a glimpse. All right? This is just a glimpse. And as promised, we want receipts. And this is just a glimpse. Now you can get mad at me, but I'm telling you, I got a bunch of cross references to this one receipt right here. Members of the Moorish American Temple in Pittsburgh. 1324 Lincoln Avenue, East Liberty, today are joining in their denomination nationwide observance of the anniversary of the day Prophet Noble Drew Ali reincarnated arrived in Chicago. According to Brother T. Allen Bay, John Givens arrived in Chicago March 14th, 1929. He took the name John Givens Ill after becoming a member of the faith. And then he was the chauffeur for its founder, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Stop right there. Prophet Noble Drew Ali went to jail March the 10th, 1929. And he got out in June. So where was he taking the Prophet Noble Drew Ali? And then Prophet Noble Drew Ali transformed. Where's he driving him? Prophet Noble Drew Ali was locked up for the conspiracy of Claude Green on March the 10th. He stayed in jail until the grand jury dropped the charges. And then he was killed. Where did John Givens drive him to? Where did he drive him to? He was in jail. He wasn't even out. He wasn't out on March the 14th, 1929. Where did he drive him to? Help me out. And I got a bunch of cross references for this. Come on. Where did he drive him to? Now you show me where John Givens drove him somewhere. Let me share the link. Come on. Show me where he drove him somewhere. Show me. This is an old wives' tale, and they use this thing to make him to make him seem like somebody, and that's how he infiltrated with Kirkman Bay. Show me where would he drive him at. You want me to show you how Prophet Noble Drew Ali was locked up the whole time? Hit the link. We got all night. Hit the link. See, no one want to see, this is the problem, Mara Bay. In order for me to become knowledgeable of what I come to learn, first I had to let go of the lies that I was taught, because I was taught a lot of lies too. In Baltimore, the only show in town is the reincarnated temples of the Moorish Science Temple of America. None of that felt right to me. Not saying it. Only thing that felt right to me about the reincarnated temples in Baltimore is the zeal that the brothers and the sisters had for what they were into. They will fight you, they will argue you down, and they were really passionate. But when it came to the intellectual concepts, I was like, and the historical accounts, I was like, they didn't rub the right way with me. You know what I mean? Like one of the concepts is Abraham Lincoln is a prophet. Oh, he what? He what? So that's the difference. In order to learn, you have to be able to, as I say in the temple, in order to truly learn something, you have to be able to develop with the research. Because 1 minute, this may be true, but as time go on, the next minute, you may have to shift. And if you are not able to shift, we're going to be left behind. And that's what happens with us as a people. When that European came with them guns and we was throwing spears, all we had to do is make the shift. Take that gun. Reverse engineer that gun. Come back again. But we didn't do that. So history is the best teacher. You see what I'm saying? The reason why China is dominating the electric car field, or Japan, because they took the Model T. They reverse engineer. They took cars from Europe. They reverse engineer it. And now they dominate it. And although today you driving and think a Tesla is slick, China will be electric power cars way before the United States. Because they look at something and they are able to say, okay, that's yesterday, let's go into tomorrow. And we as Moorish Americans, we must do that religiously, we must do that culturally, and we must do it in this society as it relates to business. Because if you think selling incense and kufis and this, that, and the third is gonna do something, it's a wrap.
It's on,
It's on, my brother.
I'm on my mother's phone. I apologize for the name. But my question to you is, it says he arrived there. It didn't say he joined the temple on that day. That's your argument, but that's not what's written.
No. Listen.
No, wait a minute. I heard what you said. I'm reading what you're saying on the screen. But it does not say he joined the temple on that day. It said he joined the temple. He became a member of the faith. And we know what that word faith means.
Hey, brother.
We know so that means the prophet did that to him.
Brother, listen what I'm telling you.
Excuse me?
First, I had to let go of the lie. Do you know where he arrived from first? I was taught a lot of.
No, you said that's a receipt. I'm only going by your receipt, Grand Sheik. Grand Sheik, you said he was a fraud. You said he was a fraud. You said he was not the chauffeur.
Listen,
and in black and white it says he's the chauffeur. Then you said, where was he driving him to? That's what you said. And my question was, I said, well, wait a minute. People in jail have lawyers. They got him on retainer, even though they're in jail. So he can't have a chauffeur, even though he's in jail. And it does not say on that article that on that date, he joined the temple on that date.
Brother, let me read it again. According to Brother T. Allen Bay, and I got a bunch of cross references for this too, but according to Brother T. Allen Bay, John Givens arrived in Chicago on March the 14th. Notice he doesn't have an L on his name. He took on the name John Givens L after the implication is enough, brother. He took on the name John Givens L after becoming a member of the faith, and then he was a chauffeur for the prophet, for the founder, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I'm telling you, the implication is he arrived on March 14th, 29. Afterwards, he took the name John Givens L, and then he became the chauffeur. What I'm saying is that chronology is very off because the prophet was in jail being accused of conspiracy to commit murder.
I hear you.
Now, March the 14th, where did the prophet travel? He never left out of Chicago. Where did he travel? Brother, in order to learn, now I got other receipts too, because so what I'm doing is I'm writing small books on each small little pamphlets on each person that I can identify in the Moorish Science Temple of America or that was mentioned during the time of the prophet. So I have a lot of deep research, you know. Now, I don't want to slander and say, let me take that back. Forgive me. I don't want to say that he's a fraud. The story is fraudulent.
And I was only going by the words that you displayed because this is going out for the babies.
But let me change it. The story is fraudulent, number one, because it's impossible for him to be the prophet's chauffeur according to the chronology of the history that I can cross-reference at least 3 times. Now, when I say fraud, I am not of the thought that Prophet Noble Drew Ali reincarnated in another man. I'm not of that thought. I'm just not of that thought. I believe that Prophet Noble Drew Ali finished his work that he was called to do, and now we must build on that foundation. There's no need for him to. That doesn't even make sense when we look at history. So I'm not of that thought. So what really happened, you know? And if we be blunt, I'm gonna take the fraud thing back. But let's examine it. Let's examine it. It can only be 2 things. The one is truth, the other is falsehood. Now, which side did this fall on with the evidence? This don't fall on the true side of that story that we've been told.
But just like the brother demonstrated earlier, he talked about the black belts. Whether he calls his name Prophet Noble Drew Ali reincarnated, whether he calls himself Jesus, whether he calls himself Muhammad, did he carry on the prophet's works in the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America? Did he lead other individuals to the light, the great light that we know as Islam?
I wasn't there, so I can't say for sure, but I do know as
you can't say for sure. You know my family. That's a shame, Grand Sheik, and that's what I'm talking about. Because no. That's not fair. It's not fair. I asked you a straight up question.
Let me answer.
Come on. Come on. You've had these people on your platform.
Hey, brother, let me respond first. In all groups, there's an admixture of good and bad. That's just what it is. It's just like the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated. I don't believe that they're structurally laid out like Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I believe that they was founded by infiltration of the Prophet's movement. However, you got beautiful families there. They develop beautiful children there. They've developed some beautiful things there.
And that's all I'm asking, Mo.
So what I'm saying is the same thing. When I say I don't know, because today I don't see a lot of John Givens L's Moors, but I do know the elders that I know, they were more spiritual than any other Moor I ever met. They were more spiritual. You know what I'm saying? But when I'm talking about on the ground, I say I don't know. I'm saying you don't see that.
Well, you live in Baltimore.
Exactly.
You've been to Temple 13.
So Temple 13 is which Temple 13?
Grand Sheik Pray for El.
Grand Sheik Pray for El, he is more subscribed to Timothy Dinglewell, hyphenated Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
But we still give honest. But we still give honest. And that's all I was asking, Mo.
No.
We give honest. I thought, Mo, this is what I thought. This is how I was raised, Mo. You're a Grand Sheik. I'm not a Grand Sheik. I'm a Sheik.
You my man. But listen.
So wait a minute. Hold on, Mo. Let me get this thought out. I was raised, we honor everything pertaining to Moorish.
Nah, I can't do that. I can't do that.
And to you be your way, and to me be mine. But that, I'm gonna put that in the ethers. I'm gonna put that in the ethers because I don't hear that too much on the ethers. I hear a lot of this way, that way. I'm gonna give honest to everything Moorish.
I get that, brother. But
because love is the savior of the world.
But
and we supposed to be. It's supposed to be. He's the founder of the uniting of the Moorish Science of America. We keep pointing fingers at people. When you point a finger, you know you got several pointing back at yourself, right?
Right. And I address those.
So praise Allah. So when you put them books out, right? Wait a minute. Let me ask you one question. When you put your books out, right, and you talk about all them other people, you gonna put your stuff in there too, right?
Absolutely.
Because you said everybody got a mixture of good and evil, right? You said that everybody got that. That means you too.
Organizations.
Mo, you just made a mistake. You took back the fraud, right? You took back the fraud. Everybody's prone to error, Mo. That's all I'm saying, Mo. We all have fallen short to his grace. We've all fallen short.
Bro, the conversation that we're having today is about history. It's about doctrine.
Right. You call somebody a fraud. You call a Muslim a fraud.
Listen.
On air. And if I didn't say anything, it would have slid. And then other people told me, wait a minute. Some of your followers told me to just accept it. But the host came back and retracted the statement.
I took it back.
I give honor to the host.
But let me tell you this. I took it back because now I want you to examine it.
I did. Mo, I did. I said I give honors to it.
Listen.
To your demonstration, I give honor to your demonstration, and I shall look into it because I've never seen this before, and I will. And you only gave a portion of the article. I don't have a whole article to look at it.
No, the article talking about them celebrating the birthday. What I'm saying is, in all the world, there are two things: the
truth and falsehood,
and the other is falsehood. And that's why I say I take it back, because now I just want to go into what the prophet said.
Praise Allah.
Truth, the other is falsehood.
Praise Allah, Mo.
If I can prove by reason of logic that John Givensell, for all intents and purposes, most likely wasn't the chauffeur, that wouldn't mean nothing to anybody anyway, because they have already accepted his importance of saying that he's reincarnated. That wouldn't mean nothing to anybody. But when we get to the doctrine of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, where there is no mistake about it, there is no reincarnated Prophet Noble Drew Ali as it relates to one spirit leaving him and going into another man. Because he said that the spirit of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali entered his body. Timothy Dinglewell said he's the new author, and we know the story of that. Those are two different things. When I was coming up, and this is in the 90s, early 90s, nobody mentioned John Givensell. That's all new. That's all new. In 1990, it was Timothy Dinglewell, hyphenated Prophet Noble Drew Ali. That was it. That was all. Come 2000, now this is the lineage in which I come through. So, and anybody that was back then would tell you the truth.
Can I ask you this question?
Yes, sir.
You said you don't believe in reincarnation. So
no, I didn't say I don't believe in reincarnation. I don't believe in this story of reincarnation.
In this story?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't believe in this story.
Grand Chief. Hey, I got a question for the brother, and I got a question for you.
Let me know. I want to say this real quick. because my brother, he ain't gonna throw me under the bus. He know good and well I love. He know good and well I love Grand Sheik. Pray there.
You gonna get it together?
That
Come
he
on
know
now.
I love Grand Sheik.
Come on now. Come on.
He know that Moors over there on Milton Avenue.
All right.
My family. So
All right.
brother, don't you come on here.
Hey,
this
I gotta find out what's going on.
Let me tell you something. Pray to L, the young Alex, he texts me at least once a week. I love you, brother. Islam, brother.
He do the same thing to me. That's my chairman.
So we ain't gonna let you cause disruption. No, and let me.
I love you, Grand Sheik.
And let me say this about the reincarnated brothers here in Baltimore. I said, I don't know if you heard me. They hit you in your mouth. I don't know if you was back in that era. This is what one of the things that really had me not. I mean, although I didn't understand, I love when the Moors that didn't take no mess. Just because we was getting conscious, it wasn't like we was turning off a cheek. I seen many times Moors snatch that fans off and say, what? What? And so I was always aggressive. So that fit me like a tailor-made suit. And in this era of time, and my wife can vouch for this, and my wife, she gets energy feeling whenever she go. And this era of time, there is not a more pleasant place to be in a temple. Mine is good, but for longevity of consistent of good energy, welcoming energy, pray to El got it in this city. And it's beautiful sheiks in there. Johnson Bay, the two Johnson Bays, my namesake, love them. You know, those are my brothers. But Sheik Charles Brownell told me one thing one time when I was with some brothers here in Baltimore, and I say, man, it seemed like these brothers can't let go of the prison. Everything seemed like prison. And he said to me, he said, Mo, you know Sheik Charles Brownell? He said, Mo.
Yes.
He said, Mo. I said, when I go to Temple 13, I just visit the children running around, the women there, you know, I was like, it just feel like prison, like we're in a day room. He said, Mo, there's a temple for everybody.
Islam.
He said, people come home, they might not be able to adjust to the family demonstration that you want to be in. So they got a temple for them. He said, Mo, if you want a family temple, then you're going to have to build the family temple, Mo.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? And I was inspired on that demonstration comes from Temple 13, bro. Charles Brownell.
No, that comes from the prophet. He said every temple, every subordinate temple is supposed to build a temple under their own laws and customs. Their own laws and customs.
But what I'm saying though, he sparked my mind.
Praise Allah. Well, he got that from the prophet.
But before then, I was sitting there like, man, this joint feel like we just walked the yard and just went in the day. Like, what's going on? Like we chopping up lessons, you know what I'm saying?
And then you seen all the beauty that came out of that though, out of that structure.
Yeah. But I'm more of a family oriented more. You know what I'm saying?
It's families. It's a lot of families.
Yeah, that's what I'm into, man. So I honor Pray There. Matter of fact, I think we just text each other. We supposed to get together soon. I honor brother Pray There. But I think that we can disagree. Have conversations, and walk away as brothers and sisters.
I love you, Grand Sheik. I ain't got no problems with you. Never had, never will.
Indeed. But don't you come up here and start no mess. I'm supposed to be the best. No, I love you too, family. And let me say this. The prophet say, dare not descend to meanness. So if I offended anybody, please humbly accept my apology, because that ain't what it is. In my zeal, as one of my brothers say, one of my chamber brothers say, he says, sometimes, man, you got to watch me, because in my team and thoughts, I might say some things. But I never mean to offend anybody. I'm just super, super passionate about this prophet that was given to us by the universal creator Allah. Period.
Grand Sheik, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir, brother.
All right.
Oh, yeah, you wanted to ask him a question too.
I wanted to ask him a question because he said he honors all Moors, right? But But if they're speaking falsehood, and if they're speaking falsehood as a Moorish American, that's part of the Moorish Science Temple of America, shouldn't that offend you that they are speaking against what Prophet Noble Drew Ali built or wrote? Shouldn't that offend you? And why would you honor Moors that's lying or Moors that's not being honest? You know, I wouldn't honor falsehood at all.
Praise Allah. It says to honor the stranger at the gate before the seeks to do you harm. The Father God Allah. You know, this is the all. Allah is the giver of understanding. Our job is to plant the seed. I will start that when you plant a seed, you plant it in the darkness and it grows apace. It's our job to plant the seed. Can't force anyone to go that way.
I agree, but honor takes on perception too. You know what I'm saying? Because I give you the degree. You know what I'm saying?
It said don't step on the ant, don't step on the meanest worm, Grand Sheep.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So when that's what you said earlier, parables, analogies, metaphors, that's right there.
But to use that and say we should not speak out against falsehood, misinformation, disinformation, distractive information will make us docile and not upright, independent, and fearless. You see, because when we look at John, right? And John went into that town, one of my favorite stories, when he went up there and he said, "Prepare Israel, prepare to meet your king." You feel what I'm saying? They wanted to get at John because we get a snapshot, but John had to be telling them something about the way that they was carrying themselves to make them want to get at him. Jesus had to get low many a times because he told people about themselves. So we have to have a balance in this thing, you know, because if not, we then return back to the church.
Yeah, Jesus did all those things, right? What was his last instruction?
His last instruction, not sure, brother. Help me out.
He said, love each other as I have loved you. And I will pray to the Father to send you a comforter.
That's the Bible.
Mo. I ain't gonna argue with you, Mo.
Listen, that's the Bible.
I ain't gonna argue with you. You're gonna do what you're gonna do regardless.
Listen,
we all gonna do what we're gonna do regardless. I'm just getting my portion. Because we're on Moorish World TV 7, Mo. It's for the babies. And it's not just one perspective. It's a Moorish perspective. It takes a village to raise a child. Some of them see it as a God of might. Some of them see it as a God of will. Some see him as a God of knowledge. Some see him as a God of love. That's what the record reflects, right?
Though, bro.
Wisdom, will, and love, right?
I got one more.
Let me say something.
So we're going to approach it by different perspectives, Mo. At our lowest, Mo. At our lowest, the prophet he said, keep the doors open, Mo, so we can come to them doors. At our lowest, Mo, he found us at our lowest. So now we got now we clean up a little bit. And we're gonna point fingers at the people who ain't.
We're not.
All right, you keep doing it. You're gonna see what you get.
Brother,
is real.
Brother, we're not pointing fingers. What we're doing.
That's what you say. That's your perception of it, Mo. That's your perception of it. Everybody else. Everybody else.
They don't just want to get right. They don't want to see themselves. But listen. Let's look what our brother John demonstrate. That brother John, one of my favorite stories right here. And you men of Israel, hear, reform, wash, and become sons of purity. That's all I'm saying.
Islam.
The rites of cleansing of the temple are about symbolic cleansing of the soul.
He planted the seed, Mo.
That's all I'm saying.
He planted the seed.
That's all I'm saying. Hold up,
that's the way he did it. That's the way he chose to do it. He planted the seed. That's the way he did it. And we know what happened. We know what happened to him in that time and climb. We know what happened.
It's okay.
And when we start speaking out like that, and this time and climb we in,
but that's
the babies these babies out here in Philly, 13 to 24 is a demographic that I'm killing. I work in the school system.
Hey, bro, that's why we learn from that. We watch our prophets.
So when you run up on them babies talking about what you better do, this and the third, they say, listen here, you better back up Alton.
Look. This was
I'm just saying, you gotta approach them differently.
John said, behold, the king has come. Behold, the king has come. The prophets told of him. He says, prepare, O Israel, prepare to meet your king. And that's all he said, and he disappeared.
He disappeared.
Then he came back. Prepare, O Israel, prepare to meet your king. And then he disappeared. The people strove to follow him, but he had drawn a veil over his form. You know what I'm saying? And then we know it goes down and says, so you have lived in sin. You're saying we shouldn't point these things out. The poor cry in your streets, and you regard them not. Your neighbors, who are they? You have defrauded your friends and foes alike. You worship Allah with voice and lips. Your hearts are far away, and you're set on gold. Your priests have bound. This is what happened in the Moorish Science Temple of America ideal. Your priests have bound up upon people a burden far too great to bear. They live in ease upon the hard-earned wages of the poor. Your lawyers, doctors, scribes are useless cumberers of the ground. They are tumors on the, look at John say, they are tumors of the body of the state. They toil not, neither do they spin, yet they consume the profits of your marts and trade. Your rulers are adulterers, extortioners, and thieves, regarding not the rights of any man, and robbers ply their calling in the sacred hills. The holy temple you have sold to thieves. That's all I'm saying. Their dens are in sacred places set apart for prayer. Here, you people of Jerusalem, reform, turn from your evil ways, or Allah will turn from you, and the heathen world far will come. And what is left of all your honor and your fame shall pass in one short hour. Prepare, Jerusalem, prepare to meet your king. He said no more. He left the court, and no one saw him go. The priests, the doctors, and the scribes were all in rage. They sought for John in intent to do him harm. They found him not. So, brother, when a John comes in the membership, when a John comes following Prophet Noble Drew Ali, just stand clear and let John do what he got to do. Because people need to be told these things. Whether I am the vessel to tell it, whether somebody else comes after me, it has to be done. Or we never will be able to put the mirror to ourselves and see what we shouldn't do or what we shouldn't have done. We got to demonstrate. My personality is of a John. Everybody's personality is not of a John.
It's all love.
Like somebody personality might be of Elihu. My personality is of that John. But that's not wrong. Because I'm not Elihu. We need Elihu too. Yeah, we need Elihu. We need Salome. We need Mary. But we need John too now. Yeah,
hey,
no, Mo just put me in the temple. That's what Mo just did. I'm done. Drop the mic. Go ahead. Put me on the podium. That's what he just did. He know what he did.
So, Grand Sheik, I had my last question. So I hear about this reincarnation and all of this stuff, right? But didn't Noble Drew Ali say he was going to be the last prophet of these days and times?
Yes, but the idea is that spirit doesn't die, and now he has entered into John Gibbons L. So he's still the last, but now he's in John Gibbons L. That will be the rationale.
But isn't it in the whole oral statements? I wasn't there. I wasn't there either. But somewhere I read it said he was going to repeat himself again.
Well, let me say this.
And then somewhere else I read it says them people over in India will be waiting for him.
Absolutely. Well, let me say this. I don't subscribe to the oral statements because we start to get into the mix-up, into the confusion like they did with Islam with Hadith. That we'll be hitting right on that same path where we'll start using these statements.
But the saying of Jesus is that's Hadith.
Let me finish. We'll start doing what happened to the Mohammedans. The Mohammedans, they cease to follow Muhammad and they begin to create the Sunnah, the way of Muhammad, by what people said. So if people subscribe to that, that's fine. But the prophet left us a holy Quran. He left us a divine constitution and bylaw. He left us the questionnaire. Now, if I can be comfortable with the interpretation of what people do centered around the basis of that, then fine. Like we see reincarnated in that questionnaire. So people are comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable to say that this is an actual fact because there's too many discrepancies, far too many discrepancies from my research. So I'm not comfortable with that. And for me, I am the type of person, if I cannot defend something 100%, I'm either not going to say it, I'm not going to deal with it, or I wait till I can, or I'm going to leave it alone. I strove to study the historical Moorish Science Temple of America and everything connected to it because I wanted to be sure that I am laboring for my own reprobation. Salvation is personal. Salvation is personal. So I can't take iffy information. If you was to go and get a job to drive a tractor trailer, you would study that thing to get them CDLs, to get the biggest score you can get. But when it comes to our salvation, our soul, and developing into our God self, we just let anything come in the temple, in this temple. We don't examine it. We don't research it. We don't cross-reference it. We don't do nothing. That's a travesty. And in our temple group, and Brother Jelani Bay is a member of the temple, he knows every meeting that we have on teaching Moorish science, there's always right here. And if I don't have it there, I say, I'm going to try to get it to you if I can remember. If I forget somebody, I want you to see it because I'm to the point now. We went so astray that man must see his God. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but there's so much mixed information out there that it just compels me to say, here it is. But I don't, somebody say, so is the more, somebody says, so is the oral statement not a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America? Absolutely not. Let me give you the history of the oral statements. The history of the oral statements, and I can bring a brother on that was a part of the one that was commissioned to put the oral statements together. Many people cry about C. Kirkman Bay taking over the Moorish Science Temple of America, infiltrating the Moorish Science Temple of America. That was the same body that commissioned to put oral statements together. So it behooves me that one would say that the oral statements are totally legitimate, but you're going to say at the same time, Kirkman Bay infiltrated the organization. Like you can't have it both ways. You know what I mean? Why would you validate one that you say that infiltrated the organization? In fact, I can go a step further. My former Grand Sheik was actually on the commission team to go and get the oral statements from people around Chicago. And he would tell you himself, he's like, man, when we finished, man, we had about 100 tops oral statements, but we didn't put them all in a book. Now you got over 500 of them. He said, Mo, I don't know where them come from. It's my former Grand Sheik. So what I'm saying is, if we go too far away from the prophet by he say, she say, he say, she say, we'll start doing what we see that brothers and sisters in our Islam are doing that's not even associated to Prophet Muhammad. And then we say, nah, it's the Sunnah. It's the Sunnah. And guess what? It's solid because this comes from Malik. This comes from Malik. It's solid. Like, nah. The prophet said, I brought you what you need to save a nation. Take it and save yourself. I'm looking at that Quran. I'm looking, and guess what? A lot of those oral statements are fugazi. A lot of them are fugazi, but some of them are true. And some of them you can verify. All you need to do is get the old Moorish guides. Because that's all they did. They grabbed a lot of stuff out the Moorish guide and said, the prophet said this, and such and such this. And then you got some papers from, like I said, Kirkman Bay put this stuff together. You got some papers that is from the time of Kirkman Bay where those members, F. Nelson Bay and all of them, they are quoting, saying what the prophet said. But these the same people that they say infiltrated the Moorish Science Temple of America, yet you use them as a reference point. Doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to me. So I just say, I'm through with that. Prophet gave me enough. I'm through with that. Not he say, she say. A lot of that stuff, even when you look at the Moorish literature, the prophet never delivered no Moorish literature. All they doing is taking stories out of the Moorish God. Go get the Moorish God. because some of those stories in the Moorish literature can be verified and validated. You follow what I'm saying? Many people don't even know how to read the Moorish literature. When you look at the Moorish literature, somebody just write it, and the Prophet Brother Ali write the thing, and you see the thing, what is Islam? And you see the Prophet name. They don't know that the Prophet used an article out the Ahmadiyya paper. That the Prophet just submitted an article out of the Ahmadiyya paper, and it's called What is Islam? They think the Prophet is breaking down what is Islam. You understand what I'm saying, brother?
What's wrong?
The Prophet ain't breaking down that. He took an article out of the Ahmadiyya paper and submitted it. It was submitted by the Prophet. When the Prophet talk about the Moors was in the Moorish literature, it talks about at the Alhambra. That's the old story he submitted.
What's wrong?
And the students need to know that the Prophet didn't say that. The Prophet only submitted the story, just like the AP does today. Come on, man. So this is what I'm saying. We need to wake up to the legitimacy of what our Prophet done, why he did what he did, so we can do that and even more. You follow me?
What's wrong?
Somebody said, where's the Moorish God that can be found? You can email me to Bay. I don't like to do this. People say I'm trying to sell something. I got the Moorish gods, all could be accounted for. You know what I mean? But the thing is, I consider myself a researcher of the Moorish Science Temple of America history. That's what I consider myself. Like I want to know everything that was left behind if I can find it. So when somebody called Prophet Brother Ali a pedophile, I want to be armed to defend it. When somebody say he married a 12-year-old, I want to be ready. I don't want to be caught off guard. Oh, I don't want to argue with you. No, I do. I do. Because I ain't following no pedophile. That's
right.
I want to argue with you. You know what I mean? Come on, set it up. And that's why I do the research like I do, but I talk too much. We didn't went too long. Brother, why don't you come on the show, brother? When you coming on the show, brother?
More, I was in a car accident the day before my mother's funeral last year, and I just went back to work Monday.
But bro, you got some wisdom, bro. I want you to come sit down with me, brother, and just talk with me, brother, to the people. Like you said, it's for the babies. My brother Jelani back, he at work now.
I'm coming over.
Bro, I just need you to email me when you ready so we can come on here and have a conversation. I promise not to yell.
I like you all you want, Mo. I love you, Mo.
And look, I told Jelani before the show, I say, brother, if I get too loud and too passionate and I offend you, just say Islam, brother, and I'll just be quiet. Because I know me. I said, just say Islam, brother, because I get real worked up. I say, but I don't mean no disrespect. I don't mean no harm. I just get really, really worked up. I say, but he was looking at me like, huh? I say, yeah, brother, say Islam. That be our sign. Just say Islam, bro.
Mo, I'm a double sash, Mo.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm a double sash, Mo. Relax.
No, but them sages hurt something too, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm good, Mo. That's what I'm saying. I love the information. It was just when it was like her fraud, and you said you was going to show the receipt, and I'm like, he didn't show the receipt. And you also said if you couldn't find it, he was going to send it to the brother. But I was like, no, he got to show that. He said that.
Bro,
he put that out there, and people will run with that if they don't have the information.
But if you email me, I can show you at least 5 references from different temples, because Givensdale had a bunch of temples.
Okay.
And different grand sheiks in these temples are saying the same thing, just different wording. Just different.
Tahaka Bay at Gmail?
Yeah, I did. Tahaka Bay at Gmail or Tahaka Bay at Yahoo. Hey, bro, please email me, bro. I'm gonna give you my number, bro. You gotta call me, bro. I love your spirit, and I love all those. I'm seeking knowledge more, not trying to sell anything. No, what I'm saying, creator of the boundless universe. No, when you asked about the papers, you know, they are downloaded, but there is a price on them. They're like $1 a piece. You know what I mean? That's no major thing. I try to make them accessible, but I travel.
Serving is worth it. It's high, Mo.
Yeah, I traveled around. Yeah, I traveled around and dug up everything I can. Like for real, I dug up everything I can. I organized what I can. Let me show you something real quick. I can show you right here. Let me show you something real quick before I bring Jelani in. Like I dug up everything I can find, scraps. Let me see. Let me see something real quick. I can show you, like, I didn't, man. I really put in work over the years, man, just to try to see what it looked like. Because anybody that's been around the Moorish Science Temple of America long enough, they know it's hard to see what it actually looked like during the time of the prophet. In my brain, I paint pictures. I need to see what it looked like during the time of the prophet. But here you go, right here. These are scraps here. These are not even the put together ones. These are scraps that I put together. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the Givens demonstration right there. Like this right here. You know what I mean? Look at this right here. Let me show y'all something. Let me stop it and show you something. Like this right here. This comes from a Moorish guy paper right here. And I look at this stuff and I examine it. Look at this right here. Right here. You get to see all the names. Prophet Noble Drew Ali stands at the center, reading from the left to the right. Y'all can see that. Now, let me show you something that's very unique about this, right? As a Moorish American historian of the Moorish Science Temple of America, I want to show you something very unique in this. Most people that see this picture right here and see it online, this picture is a blur mark right here online. Go check out your picture like this, because this was the actual piece of paper that that Small Bay, they put the X on because they didn't know who Prophet Noble Drew Ali was, and they put the X on this newspaper so they could identify him. And that's how Prophet Noble. This is a copy of that newspaper. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Y'all see that X? You see the X right there?
Can you blow it up?
Let me blow it up. Under Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
I see it right at the prophet.
There's an X right there. Nowadays, what you're gonna see is, let me see if I can pull one up online real quick. And they tried to cover it up. And all the temples have this one. Most of them do. And I got all of these reports. So, and I can cross-reference them. Let me see if I can pull it up. Here we go. So when you look at the ones that you might have, you'll see this on the bottom right here. Look right there. They etched it out. Anybody who's in the Moorish Science Temple of America and got this picture, go take a look at it. They etched it out. Anybody, go check the picture. And nobody never, and listen, nobody, and when I say nobody ever pays attention to this stuff. But that was the picture that was used. You follow me? That was the picture that was used where Small Bay said that the prophet orchestrated Claude Green's demise. And yeah. And not only that, I actually have the report of what he said too. And that's what I'm saying. You know, this is why this is a deep conversation. It's a historical conversation, you know, and this type of conversation, our children should be knowing this stuff in school, because Prophet Noble Drew Ali, religious leader, yes. Prophet, yes. But he's a historical figure that nobody knows about, except for us. And that's another reason that I do Moorish World TV like I do, because a lot of friends that I've met on Moorish World TV that are not proclaimed Moorish American they over here listening to me now. I ain't browbeating them saying join the temple. I'm saying we need to just wisen up. You know what I mean? But let me get Knowing in the building. Knowing, are you there?
I'm here.
How you doing? How you doing, Knowing? What's going on, my brother?
What's going on? Islam.
What I do? Friend or foe?
Friend or foe, it don't make a difference.
man.
If I'm your friend, then I'm your friend. If I'm your foe, I'm your foe.
Man or mankind?
You got a lot of jokes, don't you? I'm a Moorish American Muslim. That's all that matters.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh, you sound like you from the Mecca. Muslim. You from the Mecca?
I'm a Muslim.
What's up, brother? Talk to me before I get out of here. We've been in here 3 hours, man. We didn't.
Man, you don't want to talk about that real stuff.
Huh?
You ain't never sent my email request either.
What's the email, brother? Brother, listen.
Man, you know what I done talked to you about. I done get it on this show before.
Bro, listen to me. I don't know who you are right now because you got no one.
Oh, you said you knew who I was last time I was on the show.
It's last time. This is another time. It's a new time now.
Hey, I'm the same brother. I'm the same brother that's telling you Timothy Drew is not the prophet Noble Drew Ali name.
Timothy Drew. I already know that. I already got the research. I already know.
I mean, Thomas Drew, not his name. Timothy Drew is his name.
Brother, you want to come and debate me tomorrow?
Hey, my family walked with the prophet.
Okay, you gonna be walking.
I done sat in the temple with Moors that's been around the prophet.
Bro,
everybody say the prophet name is Timothy.
That all sounds good. Do you want to debate me tomorrow or Saturday? When you want to do it?
What we debating on? Ain't nothing to debate about.
I'm going to prove to you that his name is not Timothy Drew.
You can't prove to me none that you done got for Google or anything like that.
Bro,
it's Moors all around the country know that, man.
Okay, brother. If you go by what you say and I go by documentation, what's king?
I'm going by facts.
No, you're going by what somebody told you. And the Prophet Noble Drew Ali told you, man knows not by being told. I'm going by historical evidence. And I'm going to show you at least 10 pieces of historical evidence.
That say his name is Timothy.
That his name
name is Thomas, as you say.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't believe that at all. You trying to tell, hold on, brother. You trying to tell me, hold on, brother. Let me explain this to the audience out here. Man, I ain't just joined no temple. And I'm not going off no hearsay. Everybody, I done met Moors that don't even know each other that say the same thing.
I got you.
My uncle was born with a veil over his face. He was able to. Let me speak, brother.
I want you to bring them all here. We can fit 10 people in here.
Nah. I ain't gotta bring nobody in here, man. This ain't no contest. Ain't no contest.
I want to wake everybody up. And
everybody ain't gonna wake up.
Listen to me. I mean, I'm gonna give it a shot. Listen to what I'm saying. Only thing that you telling me is what somebody has told you. What I'm sharing with you is I'm going to show you proof that is undeniable. And also I will show you how they came up with the name. I can't show you how they came up with the name, but I can show you the fraudulent use of the name. Let me show you 2 fraudulent use of the name Timothy Drew. Number 1, it's a fake marriage certificate that he was married to Mary Drew Ali. That's the fake marriage that was hooked up by her father, Foreman Bay, which her name was Foreman, Mary Foreman. They got a fake marriage certificate that's dated April the 19th. Again, Prophet Noble Drew Ali was in prison at that time. Facts. And Prophet Noble Drew Ali had already written in the newspaper of how we do our obligation ceremony, i.e. marriage ceremonies. Yet on that fake certificate, he's supposedly is married by a pastor. No. Then go a step further. We know what Prophet Noble Drew Ali's signature looks like. Not his on that. I can go a step further. I can even tell you how it got on the record and for the record, but that's another time. That's one time you see Timothy Drew. Second time you see Timothy Drew is the death certificate. And surely he didn't write that. Who wrote that? Ern Payne brother, who claimed that the prophet had tuberculosis or pneumonia. And they were all in cahoots with the infiltration.
Who was in cahoots with what? Y'all keep saying infiltration, man. You can't. Hold on, let's get something straight here for all Moorish Americans out there. Can't nobody infiltrate this movement. Allah alone guides the destiny of this movement.
No. Listen.
No. Allah alone guides the destiny of this movement. What someone does may attempt. Hold on, brother. What someone does, what someone's attempt, even them papers that you got, who say that stuff real? You don't know that.
That's just
you what? Hold on. No. You wasn't there. That ain't no valuable source,
bro. It's a better source than somebody's telling me.
That ain't no better source. hold on.
Bro, if that's
hold on. Let me say this here. Just because someone, hold on.
Throw your Quran away.
Just because someone tells you something, when someone tells you something, they don't mean they telling you a lie either.
Okay, I get that. I get that.
Okay, don't make it seem like someone told you something, as Moors do that. Oh, it's law, man. No, hear me out, brother, because I'm not trying to play your game tonight. Okay, either we having a conversation or we're not.
No. We're not having a conversation, because I'm telling you we can have that conversation on Saturday and we can debate this demonstration.
No, you say you got all night tonight.
No, nigga, I gotta go work with Jelani. No, listen what I'm saying, brother. Listen what I'm saying. If we're gonna use the standard that you use, that what I discovered don't necessarily mean it's true, then hey, just throw all your stuff away. Throw your Quran away. Throw your questionnaire away. That doesn't make a logical sense. What I'm telling you, I can show you 10 pieces of evidence that cannot be refuted or disputed according to how research is done, logic and reasoning. Then I can show you, like I said, the death certificate and the marriage certificate, and I can break them down. I can break them down and show you that the marriage certificate is a forgery. I can also break down that the death certificate was put there by Aaron Payne's brother, who also filled out that the prophet had pneumonia, when in fact the prophet, it's a police report that the prophet was stabbed in front of his house of 3603. So I've got major research, brother. I don't have little research. I have major research. And Aaron Payne was also the state's attorney. That's how it was able to get on the record and for the record, so you can go to Chicago and get the marriage license. He was the state's attorney. So, bro, no, I have major research, and a lot of times that the elders told us, they told us things because they were told the things. The whole world think his name is Timothy Drew, but Emilio made a famous statement that I love. It's all right to go with the majority if the majority is right, but if one is right, the one becomes the majority. Just because so many people say it don't make it right.
Man, all these different Moors ain't gonna lie. And I'm talking about Moors that was back then during the prophet. I'm talking about family members, etc. Man, ain't nobody making that up, man. So you saying that that's a lie, and you trying to reference some stuff that you got, that you even saying is a lie. Hey, this ain't true here, and this ain't true. But this way you getting these references sources from.
You don't
a lot of this stuff y'all getting is offline,
brother.
Y'all ain't getting no credible source,
bro. Listen.
If your mother tell you something, that means she tell you a lie.
No, my mother probably tell me something in good faith, but that don't make it 100% true either.
It don't make it 100% lie either. It's only two things that can be only true for falsehood, brother.
That's what I'm saying. So
that's like for example, let's just for example, like what you said earlier on this show tonight. At first you said it ain't no grand major temple, and then the brother was like, "Hey, go to the chapter 14. Verse 14. Like, go to the chapter." Then you change your mind later because you and your crew thought about it.
No,
because it is in the Quran that it's a grand major temple, and you never said what that grand major temple was because you don't know. Because you don't know. Just like you don't know what the prophet's name is. If you saying something contrary to something people know to be a fact, people know to be a fact, then you might be lying.
Okay. Anyway, Brother Jelani, take us out, brother. Matter of fact, before you take us out,
now I'll come on tomorrow and you show your sources.
No, brother, we got to make it Saturday.
Yeah, I thought so.
Tomorrow is the holy day for all Muslims.
Saturday. Come Saturday then. Come Saturday.
I don't do live streams on Friday.
Come Saturday then. I'll come Saturday.
All right. You're going to email me?
I've been sent you an email. I can post that copy to the chat too. You've been ducking me. You've been ducking me. Stop playing.
Brother,
and you know who I am.
Brother, turn your camera on. Let me see you.
You already know who I am.
I don't know you, brother. Turn your camera on.
Hold on, the last time I was on your show.
Stop. You talking real spicy. Turn your camera on. Come on, just turn your camera on.
Just turn the camera on, bro.
Yeah, you talking all spicy.
All the brothers is on. Turn your camera on.
Yeah, he talking all spicy. You know me. No, I don't.
I was feeling you for a minute. Now you ain't gonna turn the camera on.
Yeah, come on. He talking real spicy up here. You know me. You ran from me. I ran from somebody. I don't remember that part. You know what I mean?
Love is the savior of the world.
Yeah, that's my brother. I love him. Brother, talkabay@gmail.com, brother. We can do it on Saturday, but you're gonna have to turn your camera on. I like the world see your face when I drag you.
Yeah. Oh, you put me on mute. I was on mute. I can put my face up there if I want to, but I don't want to.
Okay.
Moors know who I am.
I'll see you Saturday, brother.
Moors know who I am.
I see you Saturday. I see you Saturday. Get out of here. Anyway.
That was funny.
Now that's my man. Hey brother, before Jelani, brother, anything you want to add before we get out of here? And you I'm gonna look for my email, see if you're gonna email me too. Because we just gonna have a conversation. I'm gonna control myself and not debate dialogue on that one. Go ahead. Anybody?
Yeah, it was an honor to be a part of this. Thank you, Grand Sheik. I'll do this any time of the day.
Islam, brother. How about
honest for your works? Continue with your works with the spirit of John that you possess. I'm not mad at you.
Hey, brother, and let me say this to you. I need brothers like you. Let me tell you why.
Listen, wait a minute. You said you John, right?
I demonstrate John, I think.
All right. My attribute is Suleiman.
Right. Solomon, wisdom.
It's wisdom and peace, brother. That's where I'm at.
And let me tell you something, brother Suleiman. Let me tell you something. I need brothers like you, right? Because I do get fired up. You know what I'm saying? And,
me too.
And look, no, but this is the thing though. When a brother like you come around, because your spirit is always around me and different people, you know what I'm saying? When a brother like you come around and you say something, I could be fired up. But the wheels are still turning. Hold up, don't go too far. Islam. Like my brother Cryptonomics in here. That's my road. That's my road, dog. Boy, I'm telling you, that's my man. My man, 100 grand on Moorish Law TV. Man, he might hit me in the background when people be going crazy in the chat. He's like, ignore him. Just do what you do, Grand Sheik. Ignore him. I got them. They be attacking me, going crazy. And he's like, so he's my reminder. You know what I'm saying? Because I can get caught up into all those attacks and then forget that the actual goal is to teach people the wisdom that will ultimately help them make the correct decisions in life and preserve their life.
Islam.
I mean, but with that being said, let's get Jelani. Jelani Bay, I thank you for joining us, brother. What you got? Police behind you? You okay?
No, man, I'm in the patrol car, man. I do security, brother.
You doing security with no license?
I'm doing security, brother.
You work for a security company?
Say what?
Man,
no, I got my own mom and pop, man. It's me and two dudes named Rufus.
I feel like I'm conspiring. I don't want to know. Don't tell me nothing. Don't tell me nothing, bro. Don't tell me I'm.
Why you asking, bro? You all in the business?
That's why I apologize.
You thought the police was behind me, so you can talk about that.
I get nervous when I see them lights, man. I'm from a place like, hold up there.
Let me turn them on.
Yeah, I'm from a place like, hold up there. What's that all about? I want to make sure you're all right. Or make sure you ain't them folk. Let me see your ID.
You see a nationality and identification card. That's what you'll see.
Hey, brother, you really on patrol. What you patrolling tonight?
Well, I always patrol, man. Why y'all in my Kool-Aid, man?
All right, my bad. I'm at it again. My bad, brother. My bad, brother. Brother, can you take us out with some wise words so I can get out of here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's very easy. Listen, the prophet gave us a foundation from which to work on. He told us to use all 5 of our senses. He said, if he could only get us to think, we can save ourselves. And that's the only thing I'm about, trying to think and get us out of these classical messes. Our people are dying every day. Mansour Barbet, he didn't have to die. You know what I'm saying? Shot in the back by the police. He a Moorish American, because he was dressed in his work uniform, he died. So you don't have you don't have to be somebody in and out of court. Only thing you got to do is be brown skinned and not be in uniform. You know, because we got jobs and we got other walks of life. But they got to know that shooting a Moorish American is a different monster than shooting a Negro, because we can't be Negroes. So in order to do that, we have to have a standard, free national standard about how Moorish Americans carry themselves. And with that, I yield the floor. Islamism.
And guess what? I'm gonna leave that as the last word, and I want to thank each and every one of y'all for joining me. And anybody that's watching this, know for sure, family, that we are all brothers and sisters in the same struggle. No matter how hype I get, no matter how loud I get, anybody that's watching can say, Islam Grand Sheikh, you're going too far. I'm gonna take your advice, and I'm gonna circumscribe my passions. You know, I just get really passionate. I'm just naturally hyper like that. But I just love the information, and I love those who participate in it. So if you want to participate in the information, email me at talkabay@gmail.com. But don't think that I'm getting aggressive with you, because sometimes I get loud or sometimes I get passionate. I'm not in my passions, but I'm very passionate. But Islam family, y'all have a good night. Islamism.
Islam family, peace and love.